Welcome to the warm-up podcast. Another fine week, lads.
It was.
That's Gavin Woods.
It is.
Yeah, good week. I've written you an intro.
That's James Brown. He's written me an intro. I'm going to now read that intro that has been written.
What is it, in Chinese?
It's in Japanese. Well done, James. Very funny. Let me just try it. Yeah. Sorry, I can't resist doing the Japanese schoolgirl laughing. My son says you just say anything you like in kind of.
I always remember Jimmy Monk saying that they say when in Japanese accents that when they say McDonald's they say Mokor Dornardor.
I don't know if we're allowed this in the show, but all I'd like to say is if there was the only reason I'm ruling it in as being safe is because if there's some Japanese people doing a podcast over there and they started going, oh yes, in London they talk like that, I wouldn't be the remotest bit offended. They are a robust island nation with a great industrial heritage and a naval tradition, and frankly, I'm sure they'll be laughing as well. So that's that. So I'm going to sleep nights. Anyway, the point is that the best way is the way Japanese. I enjoy the way Japanese sometimes say the word noodle, which is nidu.
What, angry?
I don't know. I also like. It was a very good film. There you go. I'm sure that won't make the show. We've now pushed it. But as I say again, if I was in Tokyo, I wouldn't be offended if there was a DJ in Tokyo doing that.
No.
Or a radio presenter. I'm not really jockeying any discs, am I? I've slipped a few. And when he said that, no one laughed. James, a good week for you.
I enjoyed the show this week.
I loved your England 11.
That was a great
really good. I didn't
realise.
I forgot you. Of course, you were a magazine editor, NME, Loaded, GQ. You're a lists man.
No,
you love a list.
I banged that out during one anecdote you were putting together.
Well, we need to keep it.
They do tend to drag on.
We need to keep them going.
I wouldn't use me dragging it. I wouldn't use me telling anecdotes as a short measurement of time.
That was only the first 11. I did actually have a full squad of 30 of old punk musicians and very, very old television presenters.
Anyway, we'd like your ridiculevens, as I'm calling them.
Yeah, all the way to the World Cup.
All the way to the World Cup. We want your ridiculevens. These are your England 11s that really, bearing in mind we're probably not going to win it, who would be just an entertaining 11 to have out there. And I also say this in response to how dull it is when you open a paper and you read, this would be so-and-so's 11. I mean, this week as well, the Times did their charter for how to improve football. And they want to increase the amount of English players for each club in the Premiership. I just can't see the good that's going to do. It basically just means other foreigners are going to go. You're not going to suddenly find a lot of better England players. So it just means that players who are currently, languishing at the foot of the table, the higher clubs will have to buy them, which means the clubs lower down will have to then get their English players in.
And the good English players are always really expensive.
The good English players will be really expensive, but it means the ones who are in the lower reaches of the table will have to move up, which means the ones who are now languishing at the foot of the table, they'll have to then go to further down the Championship to get their England players. Yeah. It just makes no sense. James?
I've got two opposing points on this.
Go on.
In Scotland, the Scottish national team definitely started to go into decline years before we had loads of foreigners in the English league. They had loads of Scandinavians and Eastern Europeans playing for Rangers and Celtic, and lots of English players playing for Rangers.
Well, way back, yeah.
So that would support the argument. The other side is in the 1970s. When we had loads of great English players,
it didn't make any
we
difference.
didn't have many foreign players.
Yeah.
We didn't qualify for anything.
Well, no, the point about exactly right. And do you know why?
Apart from 1970.
Because the managers had option paralysis. They had to go round the grounds because there wasn't the footage and just look at more players.
Actually just
watch them. Whereas now, at least, the top Premiership clubs, they do the picking for you. Basically, if it's an England player and they manage to hold a place down in a top Premiership side, chances are they're good enough. So the system...
Yeah, you say that.
The system might not be too flawed.
You
James?
say that Adam Lallana is starting to look like he might be, hopefully, be like have the same impact as Gazza or David Platt or Peter Beardsley.
Ish.
But when Roy Hodgson included him in those friendlies a few months ago when he first played for England, he went, "Well, he's a find."
Yeah.
Like he's been playing for Forest Green. Yeah. He's been the captain of Southampton for like 5 years.
Yeah, I know. They're talking about Leighton Baines
been in the Premiership for 3 years.
Just because Ashley Cole's form's, they say it's dipped a bit, I think he's still solid. But Leighton Baines, suddenly, he's 30, and they're making out like he's got all his publicity this week for being this great find. I'm sure Everton fans have been quite aware of it for years, as indeed have I.
Southampton players all have the same haircut, have you noticed?
Yeah, they've always done that. It's a tradition.
Apparently, I've heard this from somebody on the England management,
You
Staff.
haven't.
I have.
Stop
No, I have. So
lying.
I've got to be
He's got
careful about what I say.
I have heard this
Apparently-
from the England
No.
staff.
Go on,
I've
leave
got
it.
to
Leave
think about what he
your
said there.
Leave
Apparently, Roy only remembers the last game he's seen.
Really?
Yeah. Hence,
Who?
5 Liverpool
Possibly
players,
Roy.
3 Southampton players.
He's talking about Roy Hodgson. With his, the trouble is about Roy is he has a lot of trouble with his R's.
Until he says like cigarettes, he uses a D sound
Yeah,
sometimes.
cigarettes. I shouldn't wonder.
No, that
Yeah,
wasn't
he'll be
right.
out there. He'll be out there going to the pictures. I shouldn't wonder.
Nor I never did.
Nor I never did. Oi, come out of there, bloody kids. Anyway, listen. Here's the podcast. Hope you enjoy it.
The Walnut's alive!
10:35. Good morning and welcome to the warm-up in association with Capital One. I'm Johnny Vaughan. On the day when Arsene Wenger fears that Jack Wilshere's bravery will always mean he's an injury risk. He's plucky, isn't he?
Really.
Arsenal's FA Cup game against Everton is live on TalkSport at 12:45. That's why we're coming at you at a slightly earlier time of 10:30 today. And Man United fans have received, well, season ticket holders have received a letter from David Moyes grovelling. It's a grovelling letter, and you have to say, never complain, never explain. He's really broken even those two golden rules of management. I almost love him more.
You should never do that if you're the manager.
Never, ever.
Fergie
ever,
would never have done it.
That's what went wrong for Ray Harford at Blackburn.
I apologise to all those out there because you don't know who's just spoken because I haven't introduced
Of course you do.
I haven't introduced you yet, so you don't exist in Radioland.
They tune in for us. You're the icing.
I know,
We're the cake.
I know, but I'll still introduce you. For them, it's like two people shouting off stage. They don't know who you are.
You always love that when the cameramen on TV start laughing. Come on, you're the presenter with the cameraman.
I've made a living out of it. Okay, we go. Warming up alongside me. Well, you've heard them already. And they're so cheery and they're so up for this. The whistleblower and the man with the definitive word on referees and more. Ladies and gentlemen, the bland bombshell. The Woodman.
Morning, Johnny. Morning, James.
Morning.
Morning.
And also, ladies and gentlemen, Prince-Preneur. He's fat. He's round. He doesn't bounce on the ground because he's too heavy.
I'm not fat anymore.
You are. You're massive. James Brown, ladies and gentlemen.
Every time I go on this stage, you get stick.
Walk this way. Lads, what a week it's been. I'd like to say, first of all, that Jack Wilshere thing.
Yeah, the tackle.
The tackle. First of all, yes, he's it's been all over the place. It's been really big profile. But let's also spare a thought for Doncaster.
Yeah.
I mean, they've lost defender Bongani Khumalo for the season after he hurt his knee playing for South Africa. That's not all over the pages. It's just as important for him.
It is.
Isn't it? For his life.
Say his name again without looking. Come on, Umbagi Kamano.
No, it's Bongani Khumalo. Everyone knows Bongani. But I'm just saying, Bongani, he's out, right?
Yeah.
Bongani Khumalo, he's out.
Who's he play for?
South Africa.
No, but in England.
Doncaster Rovers. Right. He is, yeah. What's your vibe today, Bongani? Anyway, what I'd like to hear about anyone, because of the profile of Jack Wilshere's injury. I just think there's lots of injuries out there that perhaps you'd like to showcase on the show. It's like,
The listeners' injuries as well.
Listeners' injuries, please. You know, I've got a slight thing with my problem, but particularly I'm looking for listeners' problems with their feet.
I've got a great injury story.
What have you got?
I was playing cricket and one of the players tore his hamstring running for a ball. And another player thought that he just had cramp.
Yeah.
So he did the classic, you lie down, I'll bend your foot forward.
Well, I know
One of the most painful treatment for a hamstring
Anyway,
ever.
through the usual channels, please. You'll get the text number in a second. They have to be playing for a football side or a side, but I want anyone who's got just minor injuries, and we can showcase them there because I bet your sides are missing you too.
They are.
It's not all about Jack.
It's true.
So I'd like to hear about those this morning.
this fella.
There's a fella.
What's his
There's
name?
a fella once years ago.
What's his name?
Bongani?
Bongani.
Yeah.
Is he going to miss the World Cup?
I don't know, Dale. All I've got is the notice board in the Sun. I mean, listen,
If there's any Donny fans, maybe could give us an update on this player.
Unfortunately, my football knowledge might be worse than usual this week because I've been and can I ask the Sun not to do this? In the Sun today, right before the sports pages start, there's an amazing half-price cushion walk comfort shoe offer, £12.50 per pair. and it challenges us to wear them out.
You can't wear them out.
You can't wear them out. I mean, not because they look so disgusting. You know what I mean? You can't wear them out.
They just don't wear out.
It's going to be really thin on football, isn't it? I bought 442 to read out and pretend it's like it's stuff I know.
Did you?
Because I haven't. I'm down to my last bar on my football knowledge.
Football magazines are a waste of time. They've got a 3 months lead time. They're always so out of date by the time they do it. It says why he's hoping for such a hot season.
No.
You think he's already broken his leg?
I've got to stick up for 442, which is the big mainstream monthly football magazine. It's a brilliant issue. They've tracked down all the Cortinas that were. They've got an extract from a book about a bloke who tracked down all the Cortinas the 1970 World Cup team were given.
Really?
Oh, lovely.
Plus a bloke who went to fight for Al Qaeda in Syria.
Okay, that's fine. Again, Johnny, the producers would go, yeah, move on from that, please. We don't discuss terrorism or international people. Don't discuss. It's not really a show about that, Johnny. Don't bite you there. How you doing? The other thing I wanted to talk about, talking about shootings, is Alan Pardew.
Yes.
Now, Pardew, yeah. Apart from that, he appears
Has he shot someone there?
No. But the point about him is but that's the next step, isn't it? I mean, it says here in the. I was just reading it. I don't know what punishment he's going to get, but to give us an idea, former Kidderminster boss Mark Yates. He only got a 4-match touchline ban and was fined £350 for headbutting Exeter striker Lee Ellum in a 2007 conference game. Now we all remember that one. But my thought is any other, just to give us an idea of what Pards is up against, please, any other sporting headbutts you want to get in and how you were punished?
Duncan Ferguson went to jail. He went to jail for 9 months for headbutting somebody in the Scottish in the SPL.
So that's the upper end of it for Pards.
Yeah, Pardew
Or he could just get so it ranges from jail to 4-match ban and £350 fine.
Could Pardew be sent into the big house?
I didn't think you could get arrested. I thought you sign a sort of disclaimer when you play in a sports match where...
Not in Scotland.
No.
Not in Scotland.
No,
right?
he went to jail.
Wow.
In Scotland, the football pitch is seen very much as the street.
Hold on a minute. You sign a disclaimer if you're playing football.
Well,
I hereby refuse to go to jail if I murder someone during a rugby match.
Yeah,
no, if that was the case, you'd have Alan Pardew coming out with stuff like this. If we could have it, some of this. I mean, if it was the case, it was a disclaimer. that was Alan Pardew. Once again, this is Alan Pardew from the dugout. I tell you the way it's going.
He's gone Rambo.
You mean if it's an accident? You mean if somebody accidentally?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean,
if you run up and headbutt somebody,
yeah, of course,
it's a crime, isn't it?
The way it's going for Alan Pardew is the next thing's going to happen. He's going to be holed up in a cave with sackcloth, eating
Uzis.
rat, stitching up his own arm as a maladjusted sociopath, and literally they're going to have to find his Colonel Troutman figure.
He'd be hiding in the Pennines somewhere.
I trained him. I commanded him in Vietnam for 3 years.
You've been busy.
That's the man who trained Pardew. He was trained. People don't realise he was trained by Colonel Troutman, who I have as a screensaver on my iPhone.
Nice.
I just like it. People find it, they turn it on.
I like the way he wears his beret.
Yeah.
I was a big fan. I was a kid with Doctor Who. Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart.
Yeah. Do you like him?
All his men had brilliant beret position.
Yeah.
And it was one that was also replicated in the 1970s Action Man. It would fold over. It was very nice.
It was nice, wasn't it?
Beret position.
But I have Troutman as my screensaver on my iPhone.
Okay.
Should I lose it? Because I just think, they'll think, we better give it to him back. He might be John Rambo. So anyway,
you might know someone dangerous.
But Troutman makes me laugh. And I just think that's what we're going to be hearing soon, is that they're going to be going throughout the, Northumbria, wherever he's going to hole up. And he's out there somewhere.
Do you remember obviously remember the Happy Mondays? Their first press shot.
Mondays.
Most bands are supposed to be all looking moody. Their first press shot, taken by Kevin Cummins, old enemy colleague of mine, was in front of the Rambo poster. First Blood. First Blood. That was their press shot. Them all lined up.
Well, they drew First Blood. Anyway, what we'd like then, any of your injuries that are out there, any headbutt news, it might have been a non-league game, but just any referees' reports, anything to do with headbutts, we'd like those. And these are the channels through which you can communicate with us.
Get involved by calling the warm-up with Johnny Vaughan on 08717 22 3344 or email us via talksport.com. Text us at 81089. 50p plus normal sending charges apply.
Talk Sport. On air, online and on TV at Freeview Channel 723.
10:49, this is your Talk Sport in association with Capital One. the credit card, the supporters. Great final last weekend as well.
Yeah, great.
It was.
I don't know if it's just our hype that's increasing the profile of the game.
It was a great game. I got the score correct for the first time in ages.
I find these predictions cause me to be resentful of a good game.
Well, with your predictions last week, it's no surprise, James.
He's got the correct result. I'm at the prediction stage now where I've just given up on the season. I'm giving some of the younger lads a go.
He's just here for the enjoyment.
Why don't you write a letter to all the listeners? Apologise.
To all the people who follow me on the predictions.
Just apologise. It hasn't worked for Moyes.
I'm thinking about next season.
OK, James just passed me a biscuit, which I've never seen before. It's called a pickup.
I got it off the Ninja Chihuahua.
Did you?
The Ninja Chihuahua.
Who's the Ninja Chihuahua?
He's going to be massive. He's this new dog that gives away biscuits.
OK.
They gave me
they're giving me this biscuit, but for a second, James, I thought it was none of your commercial things. And I was going to you're going to go, could you just hold it up so I can do a photo of you holding a pick-up biscuit?
Could you pick up the pickup?
Could you pick up the pickup? Just no, small one. No, Vaughan, it look like you like it. Because then they will give me and my family 5,000 bars of pickup to take to Leeds. right, we've got a guest on, gang. We've got a guest. First of all, though, before we go to our guest, who is a belter for us. It's a triumph for us, this one. I was asking for all your injuries, bearing in mind, lest we forget, that Doncaster have lost defender Bogani Kamola, who's done his knee playing for South Africa.
Is that Umgana's brother?
Yeah, no, it's not. Boys, please start all your texts like this. The lower the league they are, the better. If I haven't seen them on the Sky ticker tape going along the bottom of the screen, it's good news. But boys, spare a thought for Barnet FC. Striker Jake Hyde is injured again, and winger Luke Gambin is out. Also, midfield maestro Louis Mavilla is out, and keeper Graham Stack. I mean, that's a lot of injuries for Barnet there. How bad is that? And that's from Tony, the Barnet fan. But also, hi, Johnny, on a different note, my dad was ref, and I broke my tib and fib.
Wow.
Yeah, and when he came over, he could hear me moaning, and he said, I've given you the foul, get on with it. Absolute beauty. Thank you very much for Todd the Pasty. He says, come on, ya wolves.
Andy Corton has texted in. He says, I can't play for Wivenhoe Town Vets today because last week the Stanway Vets centre forward fell on me and bruised my ribs badly.
Okay.
Disaster for Wivenhoe Vets.
Okay, but is that in the papers? No, it isn't. But it's a disaster for them. Come on,
it's a disaster for Andy. The rest of the team haven't written in saying it's a disaster.
Haven't they? If you're in that team, just could you please text in for any messages for your fallen comrade?
Wivenhoe Town.
Wivenhoe Town. Is it a disaster for you? Let's have some music.
Somebody gon' get their ass kicked. Somebody gon' get their wheels lit. Somebody gon' get their ass kicked. Somebody gon' get their wheels lit.
Yes, indeed. We've got hours out of Ord on TalkSport. Plymouth Argyle assistant manager Gary Hours.
Good morning, lads.
Morning, Gary. How are you the day?
Yeah, just sat here outside a coffee shop in Bristol. Beautiful sunny day.
You haven't got near a pub yet because we know your crowd.
No, we're trying to keep out of pubs. We're on the straight and narrow. Match day, game head on.
Okay, fair enough.
That's you and Dean Winder spending these Saturday mornings
in a cafe bar.
In a cafe bar, the coffee shop.
No, it's not even open. I'm just sat here.
What are you going to do? So you're going to break in, make yourself an espresso?
No, well, about 10 minutes' time, the lads are going to walk past, hopefully, to go for a walk. I'm going to tag on the back of that.
You're going to what? So you're just sitting outside a coffee bar, which is shut, waiting for the lads to come past so you can tag along.
Yeah, look, a right weirdo.
Nice. I think that's cool. There's a fine line there between it being assistant manager of Plymouth Argyle and just stalking the team.
It's obviously part of the warm-up, Johnny.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll talk us when they go past. They might just ignore us as they normally do.
Now, you were nominated to come on the show by your mate Dickie Ord. What was he like, this extraordinary man Ord, who's become a bit of a patron saint for this show? He's in our little shrine.
Unbelievable. What a character. I mean, I'd tell you a great story and go back years. Me and Dickie spent a lot of time together. We were sort of young and youthful, and both had new houses, and I'd go to his for part of the week and he'd come to mine for part of the week, and for 6 months he lived on a bag of Bombay mix. That's all he had in the cupboard.
Massive bag!
That must have been quite a bag. That must have been like sort of pet, like you get roll bag.
we'd go out and go back and say, "Have you got anything to eat?" He'd say, "I Bombay mix." And that was it.
Had they gone soft by then?
No, they stayed out. But we went out one night and it was my house and I had nothing in, and we'd had a couple of drinks. It was early part of the week and it was a beautiful crisp night. And in those days in the northeast, the fish people used to come round from Kershaw's in the White Coat. And
fun enough, we get them in London and they're from Sunderland as well.
They used to sell sort of shrimps, and Dickie picked up this bag of boiling the bags kippers, and I thought, dearie me, what's he going to do with that? He'll have to wait till he gets home if he's hungry. Anyway, he had a couple of drinks and he sat here with the kippers, and eventually we walked home, and it was really slippy and frosty, and I says, "What are you going to do with them kippers?" Anyway, I turned round and there was this big sort of cloud of mist. And I thought, what? And when the mist settled, Dickie was having a whiz on the kippers. Boiling the kippers in the bag, and he ate them.
Well, he slashed on the bag and then he ate the kippers.
Yeah, boiling the bag kippers, he says that's what it says on the bag.
Using body temperature. He served at 98.4 Fahrenheit.
Slightly overdone, I think.
Well, with the kippers, I've urinated on the kippers, you know. But hey, I'm going to go home and have Bombay mix
It's
for
an early form of microwave.
Very early form. I don't know about that.
Anyway, that was it. You can see what type of clean living lad he was.
Lads, let's clap that story.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Dickie Ord is just growing. He's growing. So he lived on urinated kippers.
Bombay mix.
Which is urinated...
And Bombay mix.
Yeah. Slashed herring, as it's called. Not smoked herring.
Yeah.
Okay,
Those were the days. Those were the days.
Those were the days. Well, you go misty-eyed for the day when one of your teammates lived on a diet of Bombay mix and heating up herring, smoked herring with his...
Do you realise at this point, Dickie Ord's sitting at his table with all his kids and his wife looking at him with raised eyebrows.
He's probably going, "That wasn't me, that was Gary. I never did that to you. Any other moments of you and Ord out in the town and going? I mean, I like the fact that you both had new hoses and used to spend your time going to these new hoses.
No. He lived in a pit village in Merton, and obviously it was torn apart with the politics and the miners' strike. And we just used to go up and used to sit in this pub, and it was just how people would sit in different parts of the pub, and you just used to sit there and laugh at the things were going on around you. And one day there was two bars, and there was a conversation going on. It was about Magic Johnson when they discovered he had AIDS.
Yeah.
You mean the Magic Johnson? Okay, go on.
Someone said, "Whoa, see that Magic Johnson's got AIDS," and someone in another part of the pub said, "Aye, but apparently his wife hasn't." So it was going on every week. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Happy days.
I don't know if we should laugh or not. I don't know if politically we're allowed to laugh. I think you have to as a natural response. But I can just imagine. The point is, you're just reporting everyday life, and if political correctness means we've lost touch with that. Anyway.
That's a true story.
It's a true story. Okay, so James just looks and says it can't be true. Got any other moments of ours just before we go for the news of you and ours out on the town?
Me and Dickie.
With Niall Quinn as well.
I never really knew Niall, to be fair. I know Dickie talks about Niall. I've met Niall a couple of times, and obviously been up to Sunderland when he was chairman. Yeah. Fantastic bloke, and done a lot for the club. But hundreds of stories about Dickie, but I think I'll give you enough. I'll give you enough of Dickie Ord.
Okay. Now listen, tell me today, have you got any injuries there?
Guy Branston, he deserves a mention because Brano's been a great professional for us, and
at Plymouth.
I think he's got the record for having the most clubs in the league, and he's had a bit of an injury, and he's battling away to get himself.
You see, that's not in the papers, is it?
No.
It's all about Jack Wilshere. Okay, well, listen, thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we have met Ord out of ours. Who are you going to nominate we speak to next week? Come on, we want one of soccer's wild men. that you know?
I'm going to give you one, and you can decide. Because if I pass it on, I'll probably go to someone else from Sunderland, and this will just turn into Sunderland Saturday morning.
No,
fair point.
No.
Non-Sunderland. We've had 3 weeks of Sunderland.
I don't mind. They're entertaining.
All right, then, I'll give you.
I don't mind. I don't mind if we go to the far. If we go to the far, the
all
top,
right, well,
the top
you're going
right
to Gary
corner.
Bennett. You're going to Gary Bennett next, then.
Okay, we'll go to Gary Bennett. Okay, thank you.
There you are.
Listen, this whole thing about it just being Sunderland. I don't mind if we get another red area on the radar map.
Anyway, that's good time. And here come the lads now. Here come the lads on the walk, and the coffee shop's open.
Are they coming? Oh,
Yeah,
brilliant! So can we hear the arrival of the lads? Can we? Are they near?
Is Shez with them?
Yeah, they're on. No,
Let's see if we can get the Plymouth Argyle squad saying good morning. Listen to the warm up on TalkSport.
Yeah, you want to speak? I'll put you on the Paul.
Put me on speakerphone.
Yeah, come here. Come say you're on the radio. Just say good morning. Hello.
Oh, hello. That's Johnny Vaughan here on the TalkSport. Who am I speaking to?
I ain't Johnny Vaughan.
It is Johnny Vaughan. Are you all right, matey?
Is it? Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Okay. What's your name?
I don't trust Gad's just giving me the phone here.
Oh, right, okay. Well, it is Johnny Vaughan. This is the warm-up. We couldn't, you couldn't somehow get the, you couldn't get the whole squad there just to shout, here's the news, could you?
Mate, I'll ask them, but I haven't got any chance at all.
We'd like you to go, here's the news with Pete Abbott. Are you ready?
Hang on, I'll put you on loudspeaker, hang on.
Okay, here we go. This is quite exciting. We've never had a
Plymouth Argyle squad.
Oh, lad, Johnny Vaughan on the radio. You got to shout, here's the news with Pete Abbott.
Okay, here we go.
Told you, mate, ain't happening.
Okay. Oh, come on!
It ain't happening.
Come on!
They're not going to do it.
Here's the news with Pete Abbott. 10 o'clock in the morning.
Just go. Just give them the 1, 2, 3.
It ain't happening.
Isn't it? Do you know what? In the old days of hours and Ord,
Shez did it.
Yeah.
Your manager did it a month ago.
Yeah, he did. Shez did it.
Anyway.
That was a very good anyway, Gav. Yeah. Right, listen, do you know, instead of going to Pete Abbott, we're going to go and take a break. I'm sorry that there isn't the spirit at Plymouth Argyle, but I tell you what, let's give it up for Gary Hours! Thanks, Gary.
The crime is that Manchester United were absolutely knackered.
We have all of
never
that
gets
again.
old.
We will. Okay, do you know what? Within the next hour and a half, we will be playing that call again because it is.
It never gets unfunny.
Never not funny,
Never
guys.
not
Welcome
funny.
to the warm-up. I'm Johnny Vaughan, joined by James Brown, Gavin the Woodman Woods, the bland bombshell, which is not true, but it's a friend of ours' dad called him that, and it's so rude, it's not even funny.
We've got some good messages.
Go on then.
Yeah.
Let me just do the whole setup because some of you might have just joined us and don't realise, oh dear, you've missed the first half hour because it's FA Cup day. We started a bit early, in which case you'd have missed Plymouth Argyle assistant manager Gary Hours, who I thought was on sparkling form.
Fantastic, yeah.
And he's also given us our recommendation for next week's guest.
Gary Bennett,
Which is good because we can continue the Narquin bloodline.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like a quiz when the winner stays on, or a poll game.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
at the moment, Sunderland are staying on.
Yeah, they're
They
staying
are.
on. Yeah,
Until someone knocks them off. Yeah.
Well, eventually we're going to run out of players, but at the moment we are. It is the Quinn chain.
We won't run out of players. Peter Reid bought 92 players in 4 years.
Wow.
Did he?
That's a lot of players.
That's as many as there are clubs in the Football League.
Yeah, it was by
in
one
the entire league. Huh?
Yeah, he needed one to sell on to every club.
That's amazing.
He had a
isn't it?
whole set.
Is that true stat,
Yeah,
James?
it's true. Yeah.
Wow.
Let's club him in because
That's good.
suddenly one of us knows something.
Some information.
Okay, here's the main. Let me just bring you up to speed. What's happening on the show here? First of all, Pardew has gone feral.
He has.
He's literally. Well, he hasn't gone feral, but he is gradually turning. He's turning
into a Viz character.
He's turned into a Viz
He's
character.
moved to Newcastle. He's
like
turned to Biffa Bacon.
Biffa Pardew. Biffa. He's got a tattoo with mother on it. The best one, the best one, and father. The best one ever, as we digress a bit to Biffa Bacon. The best one ever was when mother was hiding in the oven. And she just came up boot first to kick Biffa in the head when he was getting a pie out. But anyway, brutal, large woman. But we have got a Pardew quote. This is the last that was heard from him. Here we go. This is what he said to the press earlier.
Live for nothing, or die for something.
That was his team talk.
I know a bloke who looks like Biffa Bacon's
Do
mum.
you? Really, I think we all do. Is it Mickey Quinn?
He's called Ad.
It's Mickey Quinn. Mickey Quinn doesn't like Mother Bacon. Anyway, he does. If he just fizzed his hair off of it. Anyway, the point is, Pardew, the rate we've charted his rise from
the rise of violence.
The rise of violence in that region. We think he will be by the end of the season. Hold up a massive, great big knife.
Willing to eat things that a goat would not.
Yeah.
When you first
he's eat things that make him, what is it?
Make a billy goat puke.
That's what, he's got to have a Colonel Troutman figure. I don't know if Colonel Troutman has commented on Pardew. I don't know if we've got into those quotes because we did speak to Troutman earlier. Hang on, here we go.
I recruited him. I trained him. I commanded him in Vietnam for 3 years.
That's from the forthcoming Pardew story. Anyway, the point is that they're picking on him and saying we don't know exactly what the FA punishment's going to be for Pardew. We don't know what punishment they're going to mete out. But just to give us some guidelines, former Kidderminster boss Mark Yates, he got a 4-match touchline ban and was fined £350 for headbutting Exeter striker Lee Ellum in 2007 in a conference tie. Duncan Ferguson, of course, got life, but that's in Scotland. No, I'm just saying.
He got an award in Scotland. Man of the Year.
Fair Play Award.
Industry. It's trade and industry.
Fair play, Duncan.
You got an award for industry. But in Scotland, things are just different. Because it starts on the pitch with one headbutt, and sooner or later...
Scotland becomes
everyone in the country's doing it.
If Scotland becomes a different country, I might go and live there. It's going to be better. They've got better mountains. They've
got better mountains.
They've got better mountains than England.
They've got us beaten mountain-wise.
Wales, Scotland, England, we've got the worst mountains. Right?
I don't like mountains. I like the sea.
They've got Begbie. We've got something that like Hugh Grant would play.
Begbie.
You've got to look. Throughout the 70s, they had better
great injury tweet
footballers.
No, you're not going to move there at all. But do you know why? Because when you're in Scotland, it always they can never say Britain's biggest. It's always Scotland's biggest football ground, Scotland's biggest ice rink, and it's just not. It's not the same, is it? I don't know. If you want to go and live in a country where it's not Britain's biggest ice rink, you take that risk.
Britain's second biggest ice rink.
I don't know what I'm talking about. The point is, we'd like stories, please, of all your headbutt stories.
I've got a brilliant one here from Stokey Rich. As kids, we used to watch my dad play Sunday morning football. One week, he forgot to take his teeth out. He had false teeth.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Amazingly brutal spectacle. There's just a man with a pair of pliers. Okay, go on.
As he headed the ball, his teeth became embedded in the centre forward's head, who began groaning in agony.
Okay, we've also got, as well as headbutt news, we want all your headbutt stories from life. I broke my nose when I was headbutted. And it was actually, I rarely speak of it, but it was actually in a drama lesson at school. I know. Where that's why my nose is so bent.
Were you not being generous enough to your
what
co-star?
Was is we couldn't remember. It was an improvisational thing, and it was about a fight. And I thought I had to headbutt him, and he thought he had to headbutt me.
And you both went for it.
We both went for the headbutt with the double impact of a mimed headbutt arriving on my nose, which is why it's the state it is. Go on.
I was also headbutted at school by a teacher.
No.
Yeah, Mr. Kemp. We were playing in the first 11 versus the teachers.
And do you know what? It's a cracking story, this, and you can hear the end of it right after the break. It's 11:15. This is the warm-up in association with Johnny Vaughan, in association with Capital One. I'm Johnny Vaughan. He's James Brown. That's Gavin Woods. We've got your injury news for lower leagues coming up. We've got James Brown's headbutt stories coming up. We've got backing, but we've got loads of stuff. Stay with us.
Talk Sport. On air, online and on TV at Freeview Channel 723.
Now, everyone's been banging on about Jack Wilshere being injured. And it's because he plays for England and Arsenal, his injury is seen as more important than other injuries that are perhaps out there.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd redress that balance. Please do get in touch with us. At the end of this segment, you'll have all the details of how to get in touch, because there's another thing I wanted to ask you for as well. I don't want to sort of burden you with too much to do. I mean, it's our show. You're not paid out there. But we do need you to work a little bit with us, because there's things we need. But I want nicknames, please, only on these. Here you go. Tottington United, the Lancashire Amateur League, they're without Hutchie. Yeah, I know. He's irreplaceable, and there is no money for a loanee, and that's gutted. Finney in Bury. James?
Adam, the Arsenal fan, says, I had a stupid injury. I was doing kick-ups and stretched a bit too far. When I lost control of the ball, I dislocated and twisted my knee. It was the most painful experience of my life. I was out for 6 months.
Ouch.
Whoa, wow,
I've got a great one here. I remember playing, this is from Andrew Kyle in Newcastle. I remember playing in a 5-a-side league match and my team got a penalty. My two mates ended up arguing over who was going to take the penalty, which resulted in one sticking the nut on the other one. The ref sent them both off.
Nice. I thought you've been headbutted, you've been sent off. You go, it's not bloody fair, he headbutted me.
I got sent off when Mr. Kemp headbutted
Wait
me.
a second, James. I told you we're going to have the James Brown headbutt story. I've been building to that. I'm trying to keep.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, but Johnny just remembered.
He's still got
what
righteous
he just
indignation
said.
about it, hasn't he?
Do you know sometimes when you have those stories when you've been really cross about something and you retell the story,
Get angry again.
and then you start getting the hackles up, and then you start to tell someone, he goes, and I've turned around and I've said no, and you start to do it. You sort of realise I didn't say that at all. I'm now actually going through what I wish I'd said. What I felt like saying. Okay, here's another. Before we have the James Brown headbutt story. Here's another one for you. Bambo is doubtful for Hadley FC in the Spartan South Midlands Challenge Cup today against Cockfosters. I'm afraid Bambo has a chesty cough. And that's from Mezzo. He's the first team coach there. Please keep all those coming in. But also all your headbutt stories. Let's keep that specific. So we want injuries for your club and headbutts. James, give us your headbutt story, please.
So, when I was in the sixth form at Lawnswood Comprehensive in Leeds, which is where I went to school, they used to play these lunchtime matches.
Yeah.
You'd have a 3 or 4 or 5-a-side in these gyms. And I hammered this teacher from behind. He was in this little doorway. It was a pretty strong challenge, but I was a skinny little kid, and he turned around.
Can I say, looking at you now, that's almost the hardest thing to believe about the whole
No,
story.
I've seen photographs, it's true.
People often ask me what happened to that skinny little kid, and I say I ate him. But and this
you are what you eat.
Just keep your hands and feet away from his mouth.
Turned around. For some reason, he had a cycling helmet on, and he headbutted me. And he was like, I said, "What's that for?" And the ref sent me off. At which point, to be fair, 2 teachers who were watching, walked out in disgust.
Did they?
At
Really?
the ref's decision.
Your school sounds like Kes.
It really does.
It wasn't anywhere near as rough as Kes.
What did you use? What did you used to do? Just go out and just fly your Kestrel in the evenings with,
we had
Colin Welland.
We had
have the same
another
boots?
brilliant PE teacher who looked like Fulton Mackay.
Tell us about
I've got to tell you about this. This was Mr. McCready. He used to play for Huddersfield Town. He looked like Fulton Mackay, the warden in Porridge. We were playing first 11 for the teachers. We kicked off. Ball came over. Very first move. I put it in the back of the net. The bloke who crossed it, Richard Sulk, broke his collarbone.
Yeah.
So they got him off, got an ambulance, everything. Mr. McGeady goes, right, let's kick off again from the beginning.
Restart.
He tried to wipe out the goal.
Such
Brilliant.
a cheaty thing to
Unbelievable.
do.
He's probably, I think he's head of a house there now, Mr. McCready.
Okay, thank you very much for that, James.
He was a legend.
Well, hopefully we're going to get a little story from James's school days every week. They really do fill up airtime. We've got Back in Black. That'll be coming up next.
We had your drama violence.
That's after the break. Yeah, it doesn't really. And also, I don't know why I've let myself down with that one because I've been lying about that for years about jail and stuff like that and. That's sort of public school drama lesson. Doesn't quite get the same. Fantastic. Doesn't quite get the same cachet.
Who was it who headbutted you?
It's a bloke called George Hollister.
Yeah.
He was actually he had a very good voice actually.
Lovely.
He was a chorister.
Lovely fellow.
I was headbutted by a chorister.
Hollister the chorister.
No, I was headbutted by a chorister at a private school. That's what I haven't told. I made out it was like Swifty in the recess in jail.
He pushed in front of me at the tailor's.
You should say you were done by Duncan Ferguson.
Yeah, I should have done actually.
Ferguson did this.
Yes. In fact, he pushed in front of me during Hutchins.
During 11s.
Yeah, well, you're not allowed to. Yeah, well, no one's allowed to talk during Hutchins, during Hillary term. I was up on Glastonbury Tor last summer, and 2 goats were having a full-on headbutt contest. They were crashing their heads together and then taking a few seconds to recover them before going again. I ended up going over to have a good chat with them, where I was pointing out the error of their ways. This guy must have been out of it.
He was chatting to goats.
Yeah,
or his name was Doolittle.
That's from a Dr. Doolittle. They were pretty cool, just having a dispute over a bit of grass. Anyway, the Pardew headbutt is laughable, and should be reminded of it he should be reminded of it every bit of every day. And then he's added, In a fun way, of course. Which is the spirit of the show.
Did I tell you about Rex Harrison on the ferry?
Not yet, because... Yes, you have, actually. But we'll have that Rex Harrison story. That's coming up in the next bit, because I need to be trailing something. Have we got another little Pardew quote here? Because I think this was what he was heard muttering going down the tunnel. This is actual footage caught at St James's Park. Here we go.
They're cannibals.
He said that about Manchester City.
They're cannibals.
He actually said that. Yeah. He said that about Pellegrini.
He doesn't mince his words.
He said that about Pellegrini and his ilk. Anyway, we've got more stuff for you, which isn't a very good
thing. Have you noticed all the Premiership managers are going grey?
James, we've done this.
We haven't done this.
Well, no, I was saying how fast you go grey once you get into management.
Yeah, we did.
Mark Hughes, it took him a week.
No, but that's what I noticed earlier. Mark Hughes, his hair's gone bright white.
I know, but you know why?
It looks like John Pertwee.
I know, but if we read Tony Cascarino's autobiography, we know why. Because players, as they get older, they dye their hair as it comes up to contract time. In fact, it's one of the most brilliant passages in his book, which is the greatest ever football.
To keep them looking young.
Yes, so when he said it's the most depressing experience of his life when he was dyeing his hair before going for a meeting
for a contract.
to try and look. Have you never read the book? It's the greatest ever sports book. It really, there's nothing touches it in the honesty. And the brevity, and Tony's such a great writer.
Brilliant.
And it is the best.
He didn't write it, did he?
He did write it, yes.
I reckon that Kimmich will have written it. He wrote all the Irish
James,
teams.
stop it! He didn't write it. He didn't. It was him. Anyway, the point is that's why they all go grey, because once they go to management, they don't give a damn anymore. We're gonna have a break. After that, we've got Rex Harrison on a ferry.
And Back in Black.
Not live. We've got Back in Black.
Nothing to do with football.
We've got more of your texts. We've got clubs in a minute. We've got music. We've got more Pardew, and we've got something that I've been hiding from you all, but I think you're going to enjoy immensely.
Oh, nice.
Here we go. Now, we are short of a wench on the bench for the matchday predictions at the end of the show. I had a fantastic week last week, so did Gav. James
and
scored
the wench did well.
James scored nothing.
I didn't. I got a point.
Did you get 1 point?
Yeah, I've got the last 2 weeks now. I've got 1 point. I'm scoring again.
The last 2 weeks, I've got 1 point. I'm scoring.
Bob Ballard nailed it.
Bob Ballard did nail it, but James doesn't like Bob.
That's not true.
You hate him.
I am the only one that extends the hand of friendship to Bob, albeit with the electric buzzer on.
Literally, the way you talk, you went, Bob went mad last week. For Leeds United. Bob does not like... Bob, actually, the Russians didn't treat Bob well, did they?
No, he didn't like it out there, did he?
Nope, I didn't. They didn't give it.
He scowled at me.
He just went, nope, I didn't.
He scowled at me.
It was
for
terrible.
referring that it was
terrible. I go, because it was just terrible.
It was awful.
He was just going, absolutely awful.
He was still angry, wasn't he?
He looked like a chubby David Coleman, slightly outraged, didn't he? And also, how come Bob got a bit of sunburn out there?
Don't know.
Did you know he came back sunburnt from Russia?
You do get sunburn on ski slopes.
I know, but he came back sunburnt from the Russian winter.
No, I think he was just out of
If
breath.
you think of what that did to the Nazis.
That's true.
That killed them, gave Bob a nice suntan.
He was just out of breath. The oxygen of exposure.
Oh, was it? Was it the oxygen of publicity? OK, here's the deal. We're without a wench on the bench today for the end of the show. All you got to do, get a pen, get your phone out, girls, right now. Get a pen, because here's the number you're going to have to call. And it's first come, first served. You ready? In a manner of speaking. Unfortunate choice of words. OK, here we go. Here's the number. You ready?
Come on.
You're such a silly man, James. 08717 22 33 44. You simply call up and go, I am the wench on the bench. And then at the end of that you have to go. If you don't go, you won't get it. So 08717 22 33 44, and you go, I am the wench on the bench.
Followed by nasal exhalation.
And then you get your right to do that. As I say, first come, first served. Let's have some referee action. Gavin Woods, the woodman, the whistleblower. It's Back in Black.
Back in Black!
Let the slayer! Try loose from the noose. Look at me hanging the bell. And fade it down.
This will be the first.
Oh,
This will be the first time we've talked about football this week.
No, it's not. We've been talking about injuries throughout the league.
Indeed,
and that's
we
your
have.
mistake. You think unless it's the Premiership, we've talked about Pardew.
That's injuries
We've talked
and
about Pardew.
violence.
No, but listen, unless you're actually talking about specific games, that's all football discussion's about. In fact, we've got a guy coming on later who has been chosen for this show specifically because he knows nothing about football, not just the host. So put that in your
pipe.
Thank you. Back in black. We've got the Pardew headbutt.
Yes.
Alan was. This is another bit of him. Up sound from him, and this was recorded in the dugout the other week. Listen to this. We're not gonna die. There we go. That was just. You can hear the crowd in the background cheering. Once again, you can hear that again. Hang on. We're not gonna die. That's Alan Pardew talking to angry Geordies. Pardew headbutt.
Yeah, we couldn't not talk about this. He headbutted David Myler.
What do you mean we couldn't not talk about it? We built the show on it.
I know.
That's what we've done.
You've stolen my thunder. But his
Thunder thief. He's a thunder thief.
They were playing against Sunderland. He did the fist pump right in O'Neill's face. That
Easy.
was it. Then he did the same with Wenger. Then he pushed a linesman versus Tottenham. And then he said, "Shut your noise, you old bleep," to Pellegrini.
Yeah.
He's admitted instantly that he was wrong for this one.
Well, he had to. He's on film.
And he said that he's going to punish himself.
No, but he said that about the last one.
No, wait. He's decided to go and do some work with youth football or something as a punishment.
He's going to headbutt them.
Now, I went and looked on some of the Newcastle blogs to see what they thought about it. And there's one called Blog on the Toon.
Oh,
which is a great blog. It's a great blog.
What is it about the North East that we so love here?
It's brilliant. Anyway, he says that it's the wrong thing for him to be doing as a community service because it's already his job. So it's not really a punishment.
Yeah, it's not a punishment.
He should be doing a soup kitchen or something. And also it sends the wrong message to those youth players.
Doing a soup kitchen.
It says the wrong message to the youth players because I'm only here because I'm being punished.
Exactly right, yeah, exactly right.
You wouldn't want to go to a soup kitchen in North East in case Dickie Ord had been near.
Exactly right.
Warming it up.
Yeah, exactly right.
Bring those copper soups over for Dickie.
Cup of soup for Dickie Ord.
Are they steaming?
Yeah, but Gav, you're exactly right. It's what I call it. It's another syndrome that annoys me. Well, it would annoy me if I was in the army, but I'm not. It still annoys me when they say all these kids who are completely out of control,
send them to the army.
ASBOs. You know, these ASBO youth.
Give them a gun and let them run around in the forest.
They say, I tell you what they should bring, they should put them in the army. And if I was in the army, I'm thinking, oh, cheers.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I've joined up. I've served my country with pride.
I want to be here, yeah.
What you're recommending some tear-away kid in antisocial behaviour and they're saying, get him in the army. He sounds like a right recruit. If I was in Afghanistan there, under fire, I think, oh, cheers!
Yeah.
Thank you so much!
They tried that on TV, Bad Lads Army.
Yeah, I know.
I used to like that.
That's right. It was a good programme, yeah.
My dad...
They always used to kick off with the Sergeant Major, didn't they? Someone always wouldn't have
two officers or sergeants, they were brilliant.
They were excellent.
All I'm saying is, my point is, for all those kids with ASBO, is why should they're already trouble, why should the state give them weapons training?
Yeah, and let them run around the forest shooting at each other.
Suddenly, they're not only actually violent, dangerous little children.
They're trained, violent, dangerous little
they're
children.
They're highly trained, very fit, organised.
And if you want that...
They come out with structure. Plus the army, we know one of the things about the army, if you're in there, it doesn't have to teach you how to steal. That's what my dad says. Because you have to get... because you don't get the kit. Yeah. And you spend your whole time trying to think, how can I get that kit? I've had to use the system. I'm not saying the army a bunch of thieves. A lot of my best friends are soldiers. But I'm saying the army does teach you how to do it quite slickly.
Absolutely.
I mean, the American army used to call our mob the borrowers out in Iraq because we were so efficient getting the necessary equipment because unfortunately the lads are underfunded. Yeah. So I'm just saying the last thing you need is a lot of ASBO kids with weapons training who can strip a weapon in the dark with a mask on.
So if Alan Pardew wants to punish himself, he shouldn't just go and do some more footy coaching.
Alan Pardew, I tell you exactly what Alan Pardew, he should join the army. They should sling him in the army.
Can you imagine a conversation with himself? The second time he's got to punish himself. Have I not listened to anything I said to myself before? How many times must I tell myself?
I tell you what we didn't get this week. What we didn't get this week. Hey, look at the Tottenham Hotspur logo backwards. It looks like Russian.
It does.
I tell you what, sorry, it's on Sky Sports. Bit random. Bit random.
It does.
But if you have got a Tottenham Hotspur logo kicking around,
do
put
it
up
in the mirror.
Look at it in the mirror, you'll see exactly what I mean.
Put your head up the jump, up the shirt, see it backwards.
You see it backwards, looks amazing, looks so foreign.
Sticker, other side of the window.
What we didn't hear about with that, when that came out in the papers, it said it has shocked his public school educated daughters, both of whom attend a posh school, because it's going to shock them more. But I wonder, we haven't had any reaction about that headbutt, and now that's got down at Greyfriars Towers, wherever they go.
I don't know.
And we just don't know, do we?
We don't.
But they left it out this time.
I
wonder how a private girls' school reacts to a parent headbutting a man.
Well, yeah, and in any job, you'd get sacked within 3 seconds, wouldn't you?
Sucked. Sorry, Kevin, did you just say...
I didn't say it in a voice.
You did.
I said sacked.
Can we have an extra replay of that a bit later?
No,
you went, you'd be sucked. You've been sucked.
Immediately.
You've been sucked. Why did you say it like that?
I didn't.
You did?
No.
Okay, well, listen, we're going to hear it. Okay, next up, Tony Pulis.
Yeah, he's come out to say that, well, he's fined two of his players, Shamak and one of his other, I can't remember the other one, but for diving. And I thought that was pretty good. He's come out publicly and said, I think we have a responsibility to the refs because it's hard for them. And it's true, you should blame the players sometimes when the refs...
Yeah.
The players.
The players. That was Ken Hoddle, Gav.
Yeah, you did that, so...
You did say, I've spoken to the players.
The players. And it's all come to fruitation.
What's going on with Glenn's hair?
Why?
It's long, thick, shaggy, but it's of an indeterminate era.
Like Glenn, his hair is born again.
No, but it's an unusual... It's hard to pin down, but it's not right.
It's
difficult to comb as well.
It's very difficult to
Whereas
comb.
Adrian Childs... He just looked like your archetypal Star Trek baddie.
Even his hair's...
His hair this
Even
week...
his hair's duh.
No, his hair this week was weird.
He's got a hair duh.
He looked like Martina Navratilova when she's a pensioner.
I quite fancy Martina Navratilova, but only when she wears those aviators. Okay, go on. Go on. Yeah.
Anyway, that was it. The third thing was the Charlie Adam. They've found him guilty of stamping on Giroud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm not going to get into whether.
No, try and speak about it neutrally. It's much more
Can you join in with the game?
No, first of all, you've got to say, I think what the Gunners will be feeling.
Yeah, the Gunners will be pleased about that, although we didn't benefit from it in the game because it should have been sent off.
No, don't say we, Gav. You've got to start being unbiased.
Arsenal, then.
You've got to make out. You call them the Gunners.
The point I was going to make was that the Stoke chairman was right when he said that Toure should have had the same punishment because he did kick out at the Norwich player. And he got let off, so it's not consistent.
Do you think, and there's a big initiative at the moment, that they should open up the FA jail?
What's that?
Well, it's like in the American Army, they've got like the army prison, like in that film, The Last Castle, and they open up like literally a detention centre for players so that they can be punished within a football environment. So at the moment, Pardew would get like a 4-week sentence in an FA proper jail.
But he would be in jail with other football managers.
Only football.
Would it be live?
It's only football.
Would it have live coverage on the internet 24 hours a day?
Yeah, it's like a bit like Big Brother. Yeah, but what you do is you have like an FA custodial facility, effectively, and maybe you build it in as part of the England training camp, and anyone who is on a pitch who's signed up as a registered player is now subject to FA law. It's a bit like Sharia law, but it's FA-Raya law.
So it would be HMFAP Barton.
Yes, exactly right, yeah. And you get taken to a special FA penal facility. And I would have those guard towers that are designed specifically to be taken out by rocket-propelled grenades in Rambo films. And that's the only reason they exist, just so you can see two Vietnamese guards just flying out of them while it's on fire. But I think there should be. I think it's time for the FA to look at it and say, you know what? Rather than all this fining and everything that's happening, if you commit sin and violence on the football field, you go to a special FA. You're not buying it, are you? Okay, fair enough.
You know, Graham Poll said that when they judge...
It's Sharia law.
When they judge whether they think there was intent or not with a stamp, they try to say what would have happened if it was a teammate lying on the ground.
Yes.
And would it have been different?
Yeah.
So once you land, would you have collaped your leg if it was against...
exactly right, exactly right.
Or would you have kept your weight on it?
Well, that just doesn't work because a lot of players don't get on.
But it all happens in the FA. No, because you've got the FA court.
Cole didn't talk for years. Viduka and Kuehl never
I know,
spoke.
but you wouldn't try and injure your own
Ferguson from Scotland who went to Sunderland, he's getting the Polish fella by the neck.
Yeah, but that was about a different thing. We've also... Thank you very much indeed. That was Back in Black.
Back in Black.
We've got Wench on the bench. Hopefully we've got one that's called in. Hopefully we have millions. Hopefully we have the...
Steve's got his thumbs up, the producer. He's obviously got a few numbers.
Wait a second, just to say, when it said Steve's got his thumbs up, the producer, what he meant was...
Sorry, I missed a comma.
Such a vital comma that Steve is the producer. The producer isn't a separate man to Steve. Let's take a break and we'll clear that up because that was a bit ambiguous.
Talk Sport. On air, online and on TV at Sky Channel 0108.
12:19, we're inside the Big Seven. That's the last big 7 minutes of the show. This is the Big Seven. First of all, we've got Anne Diamond. He's out there doing it. Anne, are you sexual?
I am, very much. Always. I'm at Norwich. It's Norwich against Stoke, and loser, you fear for them, don't you? There's other big relegation games today as well in the Barclays Premier League. Massive day in the Championship. Derby and QPR have a chance to make up ground on the automatic places because Burnley and Leicester aren't playing. And, of course, 5 commentaries this weekend. We've got Chelsea Spurs later. We kick off this lunchtime. Arsenal-Everton, 12:45 kick-off, live on TalkSport.
Thank you very much indeed. That's Adrian Durham. He's out there doing it for you. Oh, yeah, he's out there doing it, guys. Wet and wild today. It's 12:19. This is the warm-up on TalkSport. Thanks to Capital One, the credit card that supports the supporters. I'm Johnny Vaughan. I'm here with James Brown. And I was literally going to say Lee Dorsey for some reason, but of course your name is...
He's an organ player.
Of course he's going to... Everything I do going to be funky. He certainly is. Let's have... if you do want an entertaining song to listen to, I'm just doing my song choice quickly. Everything I Do is going to be funky by Lee Dorsey. Now let's have the sports headlines of the week from a man who knows nothing whatsoever about football and takes no interest in it. It's the owner of... it's the Outsider. Morning, Outsider.
Good morning. Well, it's afternoon here.
It is now,
I think we're in the same time zone.
I think, but who wants to be pedantic? Outsider, what? Let's have your first of all. After each bong, I'd like your headlines from the world of football that you've got this week from never ever going near it. Here we go.
Okay.
Here's headline 1.
Pardew the headbanger. England raise hopes of insomnia cure. Bent Blues owner banged up.
Thank you very much indeed. That's the Outsider, ladies and gentlemen.
That was brilliant,
He
yeah.
knows nothing whatsoever about football. Thank you very much, Outsider. We look forward to having you on every week, frankly. You give us... that's really our show.
It's the whole week.
In 7 seconds. Next up, James Brown, have you got your England 11 there, please?
Yeah.
Go on, okay.
So,
earlier on, I was just talking about how unexciting most people's England 11. Do go on the TalkSport website. There'll be a place on there somewhere where you can list your 11s, and we'll have them next week. Just exciting. We're not going to win it, so let's just get 11 people out there and get people talking about England. A bit like our Olympic opening ceremony.
Absolutely.
It just showed the world what Britain was about.
Yeah, it really did.
I want the same for England. Why, already James Brown made me put June Whitfield on the wing. And rightly so.
And he's got Finchy in goal.
He's got Finchy in goal.
So this is the team.
Finchy.
This is the team. Finchy in goal. Kenneth Kendall and Ronnie Corbett at fullbacks. Centre-backs, Olaf Spizenergy, Michael Rodd. Right wing, Dr. Sin. The vicar turned smuggler. Smuggler turned vicar.
Yes, excellent.
Centre-back, inventor of the tarmac road, Blind Jack of Knaresborough.
Okay.
Aldridge Pryor, the liar from Viz, left wing.
Yes.
Aldridge
Pryor was
brilliant.
great.
That's such a great
Steve
strip.
Jones and Paul Cook from the Pistols.
You pronounce Cook normally, yeah.
And Rex Harrison on the wing. That's my team to liven up England and Brazil.
I've got to tell you, it's an absolutely fantastic team. It really is. You've sold me, James. We haven't got a wench on the bench from within the TalkSport organisation. The world's sorry, that's our nasal breath. It is the world's largest sports radio broadcaster. Let's not forget that. But even within this huge organisation, we couldn't rustle up a woman for today's show. So instead, we've gone to you, and we're going to do this every week now. This is the first woman to call in, say, "I am the wench on the bench." You have to breathe on the microphone. Let's meet her. Wench on the bench. Good morning.
Morning, Johnny.
What's your name, love?
Wench on the bench.
You are the wench on the bench. That's very good nasal breath. Yeah. We want that after each one. What's your name, madam?
My name's Cheryl Wilson.
And who do you support? Arsenal?
Tottenham. Never.
Tottenham. I can sense North London running through your veins.
Come on, Tottenham.
Okay, shut up. Okay, here we go. You're pathetic. Okay, wench on the bench. We're going to start with Chelsea, Tottenham. How do you think it's going to go, Cheryl?
Well, I'd like to say Spurs are going to win, but I'm going to be sensible and go for a draw.
What's the score?
2-2.
2-2. Gav? Oh, no, you got to do nasal breath, Cheryl.
Oh.
Thank you, Gavin?
I'm going 2-1 Chelsea.
James?
3-1 Chelsea.
Okay, and I'm actually going to say, I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be 1-1. Okay, Hull City versus... No, I don't, actually. Oh, I've said it now. Okay, Hull City versus Sunderland. This is going to be 3-0 to Hull City. The bench.
2-1 Sunderland.
Thank you. That's good nasal breath, Cheryl. Gavin?
I'm going 2-1 as well.
Gav, have you just gone 2-1 for every game?
All 3 this week.
Good nasal breath. Do it again. And that's a much better class of delivery.
And he's pushed it out for 4 runs past the boundary.
I've gone 1-1.
Tips it away for 2 runs. Sorry, go on.
Hull City v Sunderland 1-1.
Hull City v Sunderland, and that's 1-1. OK, Bristol Rovers versus Plymouth Argyle.
What have you gone with, Johnny?
Here, I'm going to go with 2-0 here. Gavin?
2-1.
2-0. James?
2-2.
No, it's got to be nasal, James. It's got to be nasal. It doesn't...
That was like Tim Nice but dim.
No, James. James, if it's not nasal, I'm not even going to put a score down there.
There you go.
What was your score again?
2-2.
2-2. And lastly, Cheryl Wilson, wench on bench. What do you think?
2-0 Plymouth.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. You take care. Ladies and gentlemen, we've met Cheryl Wilson.
Fantastic.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. You take care. Lovely to meet you. I'm just signing off on that. That was your warm-up. Thank you very much for joining us. We've had an absolutely lovely show. It's been fantastic. We've had James Brown's 11. So in future, please go to our website and at TalkSport. And just put your England 11 down there. We'll be doing them every week. Just make them entertaining.
Real
11
fantasy
people.
football, yeah.
It's proper fantasy football. Fantasy with a capital F. We spoke to Gary Hours, who's the Plymouth Argyle assistant manager. He was excellent value. We had a great minute where we learnt about Chelsea and they slightly sent me up. We had your wonderful headbutts. We had your fantastic petty injuries, which have been inflicted on your side, which are keeping key players out the side. Ladies and gentlemen, we had the pleasure of the Printrepreneur himself. Ladies and gentlemen, James Brown was on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Also, the bland bombshell Gavin Woods was on the show.
Thanks very much, Johnny.
And I was Johnny Vaughan in association with Capital One. Enjoy yourself. Kick football out of football. That was the podcast for the warm-up. Thank you very much to everyone who took part. Gary Hours was this week's...
Do not eat kippers in Sunderland.
No, don't. Not if Ord has warmed them up with some of his slash. Incidentally, the way we use the word slash, have you noticed, the only time you really hear blokes say the word, I've got to go for a slash, is either in a car when they're desperate, or quickly when you're leaving a pub. Hang on a second, lads, just go for a slash. It means a fast one, doesn't it?
A hyphen.
Yes, it is. But particularly in a car. Oh, come on, please, the services, lads, I've got to have a slash. It's the only time we actually use it. It's a car-based.
It's a fast.
Yeah, it's fast. It is. It's like whatever they used to fill up Formula One cars with petrol, which I long for that technology to arrive at the pumps.
In garages, yeah.
Yeah, I do, yeah. Do you know what? That was the podcast. James, you're going to do something here. I can sense it.
No, I'll leave it.
Okay, can we have all your minor injury news next week? Any injuries that afflict non-league clubs, we want those. And
your entertaining England teams.
And your entertaining England teams. Your ridiculous 11s for England. Please, let's have those. Thank you.
And don't forget the managers.
And don't forget the managers.
You could improve on the management.
You could improve on management at all times. Thank you very much indeed. That was the warm-up on TalkSport in association with Capital One, the credit card that supports the supporters. This is the warm-up podcast. We've just had an hilarious moment in here. The studio smells a bit that we've come in to do this. It just smells of very strong coffee. But James has said, I'm like one of them sniffer things. What are they called? And we're going with the sniffer dog. You go, yeah.
Dogs.
And we're thinking, well, what word have you got for them? You know, like those things what are like cats, but aren't cats.
But they go woof.
No, it's like a cat, but it's not. It's different eye
So it
structure.
might have a special term like dog drug detective.
It's a different. No, it's like a footstool, but with a tongue.
But it runs around.
And it runs around. It's like living. It's like a living little cat, like them things you sit on to milk a cow. Okay, this is the show. We've got loads on it today. We got to it. There's David Icke. There's lots of good stuff.
By the way, that is a great booking.
David it's brilliant. We've got to get him back,
because he's not as well known for his football anymore, but he played professional football at a time when Gordon Banks was his hero.
I think we must be the first people to ever interview him in the last 20 years.
Do you know why?
Ask him about
Do you know why? That's because the man was picked by David Coleman in an era where you couldn't. There was only two channels, really.
So you had to be
doing
good.
Sport. You had to be good. You couldn't. You couldn't get through just being rubbish at it.
Hopefully he'll come back and do some more sports
broadcasting. Or because it's politically correct, so you've been chosen to do the job, which you're perhaps not that good at, but it's a sort of monopoly, so you're in there.
Jeff, stop eating my Nikes.
Jeff is my dog, incidentally. He's not like our producer.
Hang on.
He loves a bit of Nike, doesn't he?
That's a dog, James, certainly. All right, here we go.
It's not a furry stool.
It's like, no, they're like cats, but they hang around domestically. Right, here's the podcast. Here you go.
The crime is that Manchester United were absolutely knackered.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the warm-up in association with Capital One. I'm Johnny Vaughan. On the day when David Moyes accepts that Man United are the underdogs in their clash this weekend against Liverpool. Is he trying to do a Mourinho? Chelsea look to consolidate the position at the top of the table when they visit Villa today. You know? That game's live on TalkSport at 5:30. So live at 5:30, yeah, you got top of the table action. Warming up alongside me, the whistleblower, the man with the definitive word on referees, and more, with 142 fights. Ladies and gentlemen, the woodman, Gavin Woods.
Morning, Johnny. Morning, James.
And would you please welcome the Printrepreneur and, it turns out, ex-lorry kid, James Brown. James, no, just this morning you got that look about you when you come in this morning, and them lorry men who in school holidays. What are you doing for the school holidays? I'm going to take the boy on the lorry, and we'll welcome me bare-chested in the cab, with me lorry kid.
I have got a lorry tan chest.
You really, no, but you've got that lorry kid belly coming on there. You really have. I used to be quite jealous of them when I was a kid. You know, it's like
lorry kids.
Yeah, you used to see them. They used to be they were high in a cab.
It's a great adventure for a kid.
It's a great adventure.
There's a country version. There's the Tractor Kid as well.
Is there a Tractor Kid? Oh, Tractor Kid who perched on the back. Yeah, you're right, Tractor Kid.
Is there a cabbie kid?
No, there isn't cabbie kids. No. But I tell you what I do like about cabbies is the fact that, you know, they have there's not many jobs.
A cabbie kid? What, just sitting in the bed?
In the cab, yeah, in the luggage
in
bed.
the black cab.
But the where they have the photo...
Cream of the road, as one of them said to me.
Cream, is that what they said?
Yeah.
We're a chauffeur's dream. We've got to watch what we say. But they have a photo of their wife and kids there, you know, on the dashboard. And it's like to say, this is so horrendous and dull and dreadful. I've got to permanently remind myself why I do it. And that's what I'm thinking. How many other jobs? I mean, for instance, if you're a drummer in a really bad band, and on your drum kit you always have a picture of the wife and kids, just to remind you why you're doing it. Other jobs you can have. Yeah, right. We should have them here. Anyway, we're all right, lads.
Lifeboat man.
Lifeboat man. Yeah, lifeboat kid.
With a picture of his wife in the front of the lifeboat.
What do you want to do today, son? I don't want him hanging around the house all day. Can you take him on the lorry stand? Go on, get your shirt off, son. Get in the lorry.
Speaking of transport, did you see Nicholas Bentner try to get off with a taxi?
He did. He tried to assault a car.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to do, isn't it?
James, can I say something? Also, you've been to New York this week, haven't you?
I went to see Iggy Pop sing him a New Order. It was the best musical thing I've ever seen. The practice, the rehearsal.
Was it really good? Did he do? What's Iggy Pop's version of Love Will Tear Us Apart? That interests me.
Yeah, it was just spine trembling. It was genuinely
trembling.
It was amazing. My trembling spine did sweat and tingle.
But
no, it was brilliant.
What James did today, which Gavin and I picked up on, he came in the office. And he was like, you were slightly talking in like a mid-Atlantic accent.
You wouldn't have even...
Guys, I would have got you a bunch of those from one of the stores, but the stores out here just don't carry them. You know, the kids there, they had a whole bunch of stuff, and we just got
a whole new perspective on life and everything.
No, we bought a bunch of stuff at one of these stores that carried this thing that we're into, you know. And the stores here in Hollywood, it's very different, James, right?
Yeah.
Now, Gav, that's a different thing that you did there.
What?
You did that thing that guy's been to India once.
Oh,
and
yeah.
comes back and suddenly the voice is like a lot softer.
Yeah.
And they start going cross-legged in you.
I don't get wound up by that kind of thing anymore.
Yeah. I mean, in India, obviously the way we do it is in India. I hate that.
We don't get wound up by things like careers.
Yeah, because in India, they'll sit and they'll come in your house and they carry with their hand. That's like cross-legged. No, in India, this is just how we do. You think you had to go for 10 days.
Injuries. That was so popular last week.
Okay, the reason James is saying injuries is because he wants the show to start. So let's start that show. James, last week, we want petty injuries, right?
Yeah, your injuries. Why should always the injury news be full of Premiership footballers? Send us your injuries. What's keeping you out of the match this weekend? What are you suffering from? How painful is it? How did you get it? And which team is missing you?
And also, we want nicknames here.
Yes.
Last week we had a perfect, like, Hutchie will be missing another week. He's got a bad chesty cough.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's right in the zone, because that was from, like, Jambo or someone.
Yeah. So, as a football man, Hutchie will be missing playing for Recreativo Juniors.
As a football man, we'll be missing. Yeah, but that's how he wants it. In a second, you get the numbers to text in. Also, what are you warming up for today, Kev?
Well, the big derbies.
Go on.
Big derbies. There's the North London derby tomorrow and the Liverpool-Man U game. Or is it Man U Liverpool? I think it is. Yeah. That's both going to be big games.
And Man U, and it's Man U Liverpool, and Man U going into that one, the underdogs. I'm wondering though if Moyes says that. I mean, Man United could never be the underdogs at home.
No,
I don't care if they're 7th or 6th, but they
lost 4 games at home this year, which is unheard of.
Yeah. So I think what Moyes is doing, he's thinking, I have to try a bit of Mourinho's tactics.
What, describe them as a horse?
He's just starting to underdog them a bit.
I've worked out what kind of horse Chelsea really are.
What?
They're a solid platinum Shire horse with Fabergé gun turrets bristling all over him.
Did you read that?
No. I thought it up.
Is that how you think?
Gun turrets
made of... Did you write that last night and write it down?
Yes.
Oh, you're writing your own ad-lib.
You're writing your ad-lib.
Kind of horse.
Your ad-lib lines were well rehearsed.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, but what I heard is that John, the producer, he writes the little messages that he comes into you.
Does he?
Keep it tight now, Johnny.
Or straight to break. Straight to break.
He works on them all week.
Oh, aye, but there's a slice of my trainers as Britain. Anyway, that's John. We'd like to have anyone who was a lorry kid.
Yeah,
just because we all envied you back then. You used to look up in the cab, but also one of those. Why do you both have to go bare-chested? Why is it compulsive for a lorry kid? Go and get your shirt off, son, and get in there, and we come. That's how we roll.
That's how it's done, yeah.
And he's got like an evolving gut. You can see what he will be.
Wants a gut.
Yeah, like you, I once was. Like me, you will be, son.
There's no more lorry-related hits anymore, are there?
What do you mean?
Well, there used to be songs. Convoy was number one.
Convoy.
The parody of Convoy.
People aren't writing
massive.
enough songs about lorries.
There were
right.
There were lots of trucking songs.
I've written a trucking song. I've written a country trucking song.
Yeah, go on.
Which with a dance routine and everything that goes with it. It's quite a good song actually. It's about a trucker. He inherits a Ford L3000. And
are you just making this up?
No, I'm not. And he asks his father-in-law, who's given them the truck, how he got by through all the lonesome time on the road. I've got a chorus. I've got a dance that goes with it and everything, James. I'm going out with. I've got a country band with Gav. We're called.
Oh, Yes Ma'am.
We're called Yes Ma'am, and we're called Yes Ma'am, and what's wrong with that? That's our name. Which is a good name. Gav thought that up, and we're called Yes Ma'am, and well, at the moment we've got a drum and bass version of the Hucklebuck, which is also quite good. Gav, hit the beat. You do the Hucklebuck, you do the Hucklebuck. If you don't know how to do it, then you're out of luck. Shuffling on your knees, jump round around. Then you start shifting and move it all around. A wrinkle like a snake, a waddle like a duck. That's what you do when you do the Hucklebuck.
Listen, never mind that. We've got 3 top guests on.
Okay,
we haven't told us.
This is 11:14. This is how you get in touch with the show. Just out there, there'll be more country and western coming up. There'll be more Hucklebuck drum and bass action going up on your warm-up.
Don't be shy. Join the proceedings by calling the show on 08717 223344. Email us via talksport.com, or you can tweet us at DSWarmup or text us at 81089. 50p plus normal sending charges apply.
Talk Sport. On air, online and on TV at Sky Channel 0108.
Hello, this is the warm-up on TalkSport in association with Capital One, the credit card that supports all you supporters. Just 2 things very quickly, because I'm trying to feminise the show a bit. Mm-hmm. And there's just 2 very good questions, just very quickly, from Dear Deirdre in The Sun to show we don't only read the sports pages. We've got a broader envelope than that.
Yeah.
It's a bigger envelope. First of all, Dear Deirdre, my new girlfriend is just average looking. And I don't know if I should stay with her. My ex, she's 20, I'm 22. My ex was a stunner. This new girl is okay, and it's convenient as she lives in the same village as me.
And she's my sister.
True love.
Hang in there, mate. Hang in there with that average but convenient woman. She's average looking, but she's nothing to look at, but she's convenient.
Yeah, but you know, to be fair, he's making the right call.
He's got his wedding reception speech already half written,
he's
hasn't he?
making the right call.
Yeah.
To be honest, average but convenient, nice, helps, works it all
Yeah,
out.
wait a second,
Better than having, hang on, no, it's better than going down the route of stunner but loads of hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
right.
that's true.
Yeah,
Everybody knows
I know that's true. Painfully true. But stunning, not stunning, but convenient. Is she very? I married my missus because she was very convenient. And I would say today that I'm happier marrying you because of your total convenience.
Join Johnny Vaughan and support Leeds United.
Shut up. This is ridiculous. On Talk Sport, he's a former Sunderland captain, as I say, Gary Bentley.
Somebody gon' get their ass kicked. Somebody gon' get their wings licked. Somebody gon' get their ass kicked. Somebody gon'
Yeah. So Gary Bennett joins. He's great.
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, Gary. You've got good pedigree here. You come from the Niall Quinn bloodline. Do you feel pressure because of that? Because of Quinny?
No pressure at all.
None at all.
Good man.
None at all.
Do you know Niall, first of all, is what we have to ask you?
I do indeed, yeah.
Go on,
As I said, he was a player at Sunderland and also chairman.
Yeah, and have you got anything to tell us? Any times you've been out drinking with the man, the legend?
Well, you can't keep up with him, that's for sure.
Okay.
He's a legend when it comes to drink.
Okay, and just tell me, I mean, he's able to get 25 pints in. What characterises his drinking, apart from the fact he does it responsibly, like all of us, and like we advise you to do on TalkSport? But does he go in fast, or is it just the fact he keeps an even pace?
Well, he's steady away, and again, you've got to remember the size of him. He doesn't change as he's putting down his 25th pint down his neck. He's the same as he was putting his first one down.
He's got some. He's got some neck.
There's three men crying. So you're saying,
he has got some neck.
You're saying the good thing about Niall is he puts that first pint back the same as the 25th.
What he's saying is when he does drink 25 pints, he does it responsibly.
He does it responsibly. Yeah. And
He's in control. He's in control.
He's in control all the time. Now, your former teammate at Sunderland, Gary Owers, mentioned you come on the show today. What was Gary like in the dressing room?
What was Gary like? He was an excellent player. Great to be in your team. You know what you was going to get from Gary. We used to call him Jacob.
Why?
But Jacob Crackers.
Oh, okay.
But,
I thought it was like I was getting ladders out to get back into hotels or something.
There's a few stories about Gary which you can tell, but not on air. I'm sorry to say.
No, go on. Tell us one you can tell us on air. I mean, we'll be the judge of that.
Well, you can go into when he got married.
Yes, let's go into that.
Yeah, go on.
He married an ice skater.
Did he?
And obviously we nicknamed Frosty Arse.
Go on, what happened with Frosty Arse? What she was
always on it, wasn't she? When she used to skate. But we won't name names, as I said. We won't name names on air.
Okay.
Well, I think she'll know you're talking about. There can't be too many ice skaters that he married.
It sounds to me like she's probably well aware of it.
Hey, can I just ask a question? Did she make Gary take up ice skating?
Yeah, did she?
Well, he used to come in. He used to come in with some tights on. That's for sure.
Did he? He used to come in with tights. Okay. How did you warm up at Sunderland then? Because it was a drinking squad. This wasn't it?
Well, in them days, you used to have a drop of whiskey before you used to go out. Jump in the bath, warm the muscles up. There's no such thing as warm ups now, as you've seen now. When you go out onto obviously the pitch now.
Are you trying to tell me that your warm-up, when you're at Sunderland, we used to all drink whiskey and just get in a bath? What an athlete!
That's awesome.
A little bit of whiskey or a brandy used to get the blood flowing through the body.
Absolutely
Used to warm you up.
But I tell you what, if you got into a bit of argy-bargy on the pitch with a player, with the Sunderland player, you're just suddenly thinking, they all stink of booze. A whole side coming out the tunnel just stinking of booze. You want to watch Sunderland today, man? The sting of booze, like,
It was the norm them days. I
know, but worried Cockneys. You've got to bring that up there, mate. They all suffer. They all be on the sauce again. They stink of a mixture of brandy and Radox.
Some of them was just coming in from the night before, man.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Who was the manager?
You added man at the end, be reasonable.
Who was the manager then? Was it Reedy?
We used to have Laurie McMenemy, who used to manage then in 1980.
Would it be his own? Would it be his own whiskey, or was it a club whiskey, or would he bring his own in?
Well, when I first obviously joined Sunderland, again, there used to always be like a bottle of whiskey and a bottle of brandy on the side for the lads if they wanted a little tipple before they went out.
Now they have Lucas Aid Sport. What did you used to call it, like Whiskey Max?
So hang on, there was a drink.
We were drinking Whiskey Max.
There was a drink
vodka Sport.
And Gary,
to be fair, it was optional.
Okay.
Was it in a decanter or was it in a bottle?
Yeah, brilliant.
Straight out of the bottle, man.
Well, it wasn't a decanter with one of those sports nozzles wedged in the top.
Did Laurie have a drink before the game? Will the manager get the spirits going?
Well, I think some of the supporters thought so, because you've got to remember that when Laurie McMenemy was manager, I got on very well with Laurie, but our first 5 games, we lost our first 5 games and didn't score a goal.
Right. Well, I've got to tell you, now I've heard your warm-up, mate. It's not coming as much as it was. Do you think the problem was you had a drinks cabinet in the dressing room?
We had a drinks problem, not a cabinet.
You're all sipping on hard liquor while you
stretching the Achilles.
while you're in a bath before a game. I mean, for me, your warm-up sounds like most people's post-match wind down.
Well, who can match that? You've got to remember, you used to have a little tipple, or you used to have 1 or 2 players who used to have a couple of cigarettes before they went out as well.
Oh, fantastic. Ashtray in the dressing room.
Another brandy, no, it's all right, I'm going to nip out and have a fag.
It's brilliant.
Go and have a fag before they went on.
Did people smoke in the bath? with a glass of whiskey? With a whiskey before the game.
Gary, did anyone try and take a fag onto the pitch?
Leave him, he's focusing. He's in the bar. I was going to get boss. I'm just going to get a brandy, grab his fags,
and get in the zone.
And I'm just going to get in the back and get in the zone.
I can imagine you've got this picture in your mind where the lads have sat in the bath with a cigarette and a glass of brandy in the hand.
Yeah, is that an accurate depiction?
Before that was their warm-up, yeah.
Yeah, okay, nice. That's the best one we've ever heard. Okay, Mr. Bennett, thank you so much for being such fun this morning. Really is great to meet you. Gary Bennett, it's now down to you to recommend next week's guest.
I'm going to recommend my brother, Dave Bennett.
Great.
Excellent choice. Bennett out of Bennett on TalkSport. That's for next week. So far, we've had Bennett out of Ours on TalkSport. We've had Ours out of Ord. And, of course, Ord out of Quinn. That's the lineage. And what a lineage it is.
It's been
Niall
brilliant.
Quinn, his first pint slips down the same as his 25th.
Absolutely.
There is no change in the man. That's why this show next season will come back as the Niall Quinn Show.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we've met Gary Bennett!
Thanks, Gary.
Up next, we've got Jamie Redknapp. Very different sort of warm-up, I would suspect. Welcome back to the warm-up on TalkSport. It's 11:34. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Johnny Vaughan, joined as ever by the Woodman, Gavin Woods.
Hello.
And joined by the entrepreneur himself, James Brown.
Good morning.
We're just going to test our microphones working with 70s cricket commentator Nasal Breath. And not so much better class of ball.
And that'll be away in the covers for 4 runs.
Tips it away for 4. He'll not get that one. just a bit of housekeeping for us. We've got some As a Football Man news in. As a Football Man, Big Dave was hoping to make a comeback from his stiff ankle this week for Moncton Rovers, but he's decided to rest a week further because he's on an interview on Monday and feels a hobbling postman is not the image he wants to portray. Good PR.
As a Football Man, David Hartrick says, as a Football Man, I had to duck out of a five-a-side 15 mins in last Monday with a bad nosebleed.
As a Football Man, Sleasby, brilliant nickname.
Great nickname.
Sleasby is out of a big game today for Colton FC after smashing his knee to bits in a challenge, and it doesn't help that he's overweight.
Nice, I bet it doesn't.
Jimmy, Callie Sweep says, I broke my jaw and my wrist at the same time in Clissold Park, London. My dad, Jimmy Gregory, said to me, get up and carry on, you ain't hurt.
Nice. You're not hurt.
It's like Felix Magath getting his one-arm player to do one-arm push-ups when he had a broken arm.
Yeah, what a man! But that was part. No, but that was part of the Manhattan Project. That was way back. That was when he was doing nuclear testing.
I used to really like them.
What?
Manhattan transfer.
No. I used to. Do you know what they used to give me? Do you know what I used to have nightmares about it? Is when that guy came right to the microphone, to the camera on top of the pops and went rat-ta-rat-ta.
Like
and
a
I
child
woke up that
catcher.
night. I was like, oh, Mum, rat-ta-ta-ta-ta, man. Rat-ta-rat-ta-ta. Play on call. Anyway. Let's have less of that and a bit more of a special guest.
Am I the only one?
Yeah.
Am I sexual?
Oh, yes, he is. Well, he is Jamie Redknapp. Morning, Jamie.
It's a tune, that one, Johnny. Love that one.
Jamie, would you say you're sexual?
Not really, mate.
Come
I think
on.
Louise would tell you probably different. Really.
Come on. No, I've spoken to Louise about it. She says you are sexual.
Nah, mate. Nowhere near as sexual
Seriously,
as what you are, Johnny.
when I last saw Louise, I said, is he sexual? And she went, yeah. And that is, you can take that to the bank because that is true. How are you?
All right, I'll have to start that one. Yeah, we'll see.
How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm very good, mate. Yourself? Everyone all right?
Yeah. Not too bad. You're having a very perky season. Actually, I have to say, when I last spoke to your missus, I was talking to her.
You're speaking to my missus a little bit too much in my life.
No. I bumped into her in a clothes shop, and I started talking to her about, because you get, you got some lovely suits, Sarah, and you know I'm a fan of the old schmutter myself, and you've got some lovely suits, but I tell you, you've got to guard against tenting. I mean, you're behind a desk now. But you're getting a bit of tenting with your trousers. They're quite tight. And I was speaking to Louise.
No, I get a little bit of stick for the tight trousers. Yeah, not meant to be. When I stand up there, it's all right. But just when I sit down, I know what you mean.
But she was concerned about the tenting. She was concerned about it driving women who are watching it, are just watching it for the tenting.
Getting distracted.
Oh, good.
I don't know where it comes from. Anyway, Jamie, tell us what you're up to.
I'm good, mate. I'm just up at Sky at the moment in Sky Studios getting ready for the game today. Your team are playing Villa, obviously, this afternoon, 5:30.
Yeah.
Should be a very good game.
What do you reckon there? You got your cousin has actually scored 13 goals against Villa, which is more than he has against any other club. But Mourinho doesn't have such a good record against Villa.
Well, I don't think he's. Well, I've just been told. My producer just said to me that he's never won at Villa Park, which is a surprise to me because he wins everywhere else, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But as for Frank, I mean, no, he's a machine. He just seems to score goals everywhere he goes. And
do you think he should go to the World Cup, Jamie? Do you think? Frank...
I do, obviously, because I think of his experience. It's a fine line. You want the experienced players, your Gerrard and your Frank Lampards, but you're also looking at how can you incorporate people like Ross Barkley, who I also think should go because I just think he's such a good player.
If you were the manager, which one would you take, Barkley or Lampard? Forget he's your cousin.
You take them both?
I'd take them both, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, the other players that I've maybe, the other players that I look.
I know. In fact, Jamie, I know why you take Lampard, because he's family. And I'll tell you exactly why, Vaughan, because he's family.
No, because he's just a proper player, good lad.
He is a proper player.
And when you go away on these trips and you're away for a long time, and I've been to major tournaments, you need people around you that are good. Then if they're perhaps not playing, they're going to be still a good guy to have around the dressing room, and that's what Frank will bring.
You want people you can trust, like family.
Absolutely.
Like family, like tight in the East End.
I'm a Bournemouth boy, he's East End, I'm not.
Okay, fair enough. Whoa, sorry about that. I'm a Bournemouth boy, he's East End. They're the Cockneys of the family, not us. All right, Jamie, I quite enjoy watching this live show you do. You know the show you do, where you got the whole crowd around you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's good.
How's that sort of changed the way when you go out there to perform? Does it sometimes? I mean, I don't want you to slag the crowd off, but sometimes does it stop you focusing so much on the punditry and there's a crowd there? You don't want to say things that are going to cheese them off.
Not really. No, it's different. That's what it is. Because normally you're there and there's 2 or 3 of you in the studio, and then you've got your cameras, but you tend not to realise there's a crowd there. But all of a sudden now you've got a crowd. And we've got Franco Zola in the studio with us this evening, so I know he's an absolute legend. So they're obviously all going to want a little bit of Franco's time, and but you've also got to concentrate on watching, a good game that's in front of you. But it's something we've done differently this year, and it seems to have gone down quite well. I mean, it took a little bit of time to get used to it because it's unusual. It's not something we like things. We're pretty staid in this country, and I'm the same. I don't like change, so it has been a bit of a change. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year, whether we keep it going or not. But hopefully we do. So I think the fans will come along and enjoy it.
What's weird is some nights, for some games, it sort of really works, and then some nights it's sort of like a bit. You look at them and they're looking like, "What are we doing here?" And you're looking at them like, "What are they doing here?" It's not Top Gear. You're not going to say Vauxhall and everyone sniggers. What do you drive? A Renault, and everyone sniggers at every single car. But there, it's some nights you get sort of a bit of a reaction, and you can see why it's working. And some nights I watch it, I sort of think everyone's looking like, "What we stood here."
Yeah, I know what you mean.
What my suggestion is? It's really simple. Get a bar in there.
Well, I mean, that might be an idea. Listen, I'm sure the bosses at Sky will be open to suggestions, Johnny. So have you got anything you want to put and send it on a letter to them, and then they can deal with it. Hey, don't be asking me, mate. I'm just getting on what I'm told to do.
Dance, monkey boy, dance. Yeah, right.
Jamie, we've got to do predictions for the Man United, Liverpool, and the Tottenham Arsenal game tomorrow. What do you reckon about those games?
I've got a feeling for Liverpool, and that's not because of my allegiances. I just think the pace up front, the Suarez and Sturridge and
United's defence, you mean, as well?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I personally think that Liverpool will get a result. And the tough one to call is the Tottenham one because
it's always 50-50.
You're gonna go. Wait a second, Jamie. Before we move on to the Tottenham Arsenal, the other big derby there, you're gonna give us a score there for Man United. It is odd to think of them as being underdogs at Old Trafford at any time.
Amazing. Absolutely. I'm going to go for Liverpool 2-1.
You're going to go Liverpool 2-1 in there. Okay.
What about you guys? What do you reckon?
That's what I've got.
That's what we've all just written down as well.
No, you see, I think Man United are going to do this about 3-1. I think they're going to do it. I think it's one of those ones where everyone's got so caught up in the narrative.
They'll really not want to lose to Liverpool.
Jamie, what about Exeter to Northampton? Exeter to Northampton we've got to predict.
What's that? Exeter to Northampton?
Yeah, we've got to predict that one as well.
That's not a game this weekend.
You sure?
Yeah,
it's not a game there. Okay, so we've got 2-1 there. Jamie, what I think's going to happen, you see, I think everyone's forgotten, just because they like to blame the manager and they're not playing for him, that some games just get players up for it.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter what Moyes does. Yeah. And I think this is one of those games. It's not one of those grind it out victories. This is a game where class will out. And we've forgotten what's lurking in that Man United squad. And they might not be playing for Moyes, but they might play for each other and they might play for the crowd. And I think Man United are going to come through because they do have a better team than Liverpool. You talk about Suarez, they've got a bit of outstanding talent there. But but Man United can match that easily with. I'll trump that with Van Persie and Rooney.
They haven't got a better team than Liverpool.
I'm not sure about that one, Johnny.
Well,
you see how it comes true, Jamie Redknapp.
Well, it's a big week for him, isn't it? Because he's got Olympiacos on Wednesday night as well, and if he were to lose those 2 games, I mean, the pressure's really going to come on him because there'll be no more Champions League. Next season looks like they won't get in that as well. Yeah. So it's a sort of pressure that he won't want.
And how much people talk about how they've got that weighing on their minds. When you go out there at Old Trafford, is there anything other than the game you're playing weighing on your mind? I don't believe there is.
It just seems different this year at Old Trafford. I mean, when I went there a few times, not so much with Liverpool, with Tottenham, if we got a corner, we did a lap of honour.
Yeah.
It was like that's how it used to be. But it's changed. Teams are going there. Look at West Brom got one there earlier on in the season. Southampton picked up a point. Teams that used to go there and just we're going to get done 2 or 3. We'll be happy with that. Now teams go there actually believing they can win. Yeah. Listen, I know what you're saying. They shouldn't be performing the way they are. And tomorrow might be one of those games that can turn it all around.
Yeah, but it's like with Chelsea. Would you say Chelsea have got something? Well, obviously Man United haven't got this problem. But Chelsea, would you say they've got the Galatasaray thing? Is that going to be weighing on their mind at Villa today? I mean, genuinely.
Possibly, but it just depends what team he puts out. I mean, talking about maybe resting Etu for Tuesday and might maybe play Demba Ba tonight. So, it does weigh on your mind, but what Chelsea have at the moment is an opportunity, as you know, to go and win the Premier League. They've not won it for a few years now, and And Jose knows that no matter what he says, it's there. I think it's theirs to lose. You're in such a good position now. If you were to lose it from here, I think people would be critical of him because he doesn't get it wrong normally. You don't think so? It's big as yours.
I've said at the start of the season when we sat down in here, show one, you can hear me say Chelsea are going to win it, Man United are going to come 7th. That's my prediction. Tottenham Hotspur. I swear to you, show one, you can listen to that. Tottenham Hotspur, Arsenal.
I heard it. I remember you saying it.
Yeah, of course you do. Thanks, Jamie. Back me up on it. Tottenham Arsenal. Where are you going?
This is a difficult one. I mean, I've gone for the draw, to be honest. That isn't sitting on the fence. I could see
no,
lots
it
of
is
goals.
sitting on a fence.
It's not right. Well, what do you want me to say? If I think it's going to be a draw, do you want me to say it's going to be a win? Is that what you're asking for?
Yes, I am. I want you to start predicting when you're going to stick your neck out a bit.
A draw is a prediction. It's still a prediction. I'm going for the draw. I'm going for a 2-2, lots of goals. Because I think Tottenham defensively at the moment are all over the place. Dawson's out injured. Probably played with Vertonghen and Cabal. Every time he plays, it looks like they're going to concede 3 or 4 goals. So I'm going to go for a high-scoring draw, Johnny. What are you going for, guys?
I reckon Arsenal going to nick it easy, 1-0.
I'm going to,
Easy 1-0.
It's going to be more goals than one, I reckon.
No, there isn't. There isn't. That's the whole thing about it. That's what you lot have missed out on. Mr. Redknapp, thank you very much for talking to us.
It's a pleasure. Enjoying the show, guys.
Yeah, enjoying you in the evenings. You keep up the slick work. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jamie Redknapp. Thanks to Sky Sports. Don't forget, magnificent March on Sky Sports continues with Villa versus Chelsea this evening, 5 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Then with the Super Sunday, including Man United versus Liverpool. Then Tottenham Arsenal, which is at 12:30 on Sky Sports 1. Big weekend for Redknapp. I do like it when they start talking a bit of family. The family. It's 11:46. It's time for this.
Back in Black.
Yes, indeed. Right here on the warm-up, in association with Capital One, the credit card that supports the supporters. Gavin Woods, Lee Clark must be talking point one here.
Well, he is, yeah. Birmingham City boss Lee Clark. He said the row he had with referee James Linnington has been resolved. He said originally last week, the referee rubbed my captain's nose in the fact that we were losing the game. I don't know how the ref mocked him, they haven't said. This is unacceptable behaviour and I want to take it further. He spoke to the Referees Association and then he said, and this is how I read it, there's a report being filed and we've had conversations between all the panties. But it's actually parties.
Okay, but it's just...
But anyway, he said...
is that the misprint?
Yeah,
we've had a conversation with all the panties.
Oh, no, anyway, he says...
I like those, I like your panties.
We're happy with the way things have panned out. We flagged it up. But you know what Birmingham do? They have local referees reffing their training games.
Do they?
Yeah, so that the players can get used to the refs and the refs can get used to the players. They're not allowed to ref the real games, they're local refs, because they're not allowed to.
I hope there's not too many people who have misread that report like you, and there's like someone in the club going, "Hey Lee, I've heard you've spoken to all
all the panties.
All the panties. Where are these panties?
What? Do they got those in the store?
I was hoping after the game maybe we could go and see all these panties.
Anyway, I think that's a brilliant idea for the club to use real refs in their training games.
It's a great idea.
It's a really good idea.
It's a fantastic idea.
It's very good.
It's a really good idea.
It is.
It's suddenly sound like guys who've been to India.
Yeah.
When you're in India,
you don't worry about things like refereeing.
You tend to worry
anymore.
about things like that. You just, you
just rise above it and let it flow over you.
I mean, I don't even use curry anymore. I just let
you went a bit Stewie there, Gav. You went a bit Stewie as Rex Harrison.
I did.
Family Guy.
I just let the food flow over me. Literally, I don't even eat. I just literally put it on my skin, and just India just takes the food in. It's amazing.
By the way, since you said Stewie was based on Rex Harrison, I can't. You
can't hear it any other way.
You can't. You just watch it and you just think it's Rex Harrison.
I know, it's a brilliant voice.
I don't eat food. I just lay it on me and I just let it permeate my existence.
Through a process of osmosis.
Yeah, it just permeates. It permeates my consciousness,
I just imbibe it.
I got vitamins for my consciousness.
Go on, back in black.
Yeah, the other one, the other issue was Graham Poll was saying Zabaleta in the game between Barcelona and Man City, where the ref was awful. He was actually awful for both teams. He disallowed a good goal for Neymar. He should have given a penalty for Dzeko, and really obvious, right in front of him. I don't know why he didn't give it. But Zabaleta got right in the ref's face and really screamed at him, and he got sent off for it, and you can't do that.
Do you know what's cheesed me off this week, Kev? Is even when you read about a Man City, say, being slightly robbed to get away at Barcelona, a couple of decisions there have gone Barcelona's way again. But do any of the chief sports writers, I think it was the chief sports writer in the Times, and he's come out with this account saying, a missed offside here and there.
How does the ref overrule an offside? He can't see it.
Yeah, an overruled offside here and there. He says a missed penalty here, an offside there. I'm thinking, no, you can't just do
you
this
have to have
because
better refs,
because also he says, but on the night the better side won it. I've been to loads of games where the better side hasn't won
That's
it
right.
quite fairly.
That's
because they've merely scored an open goal. There's the other side have been much better, but they haven't managed to penetrate.
Yeah.
This idea that on balance though the better side won. That's not always football.
It's not,
and increasingly it's not with bad refereeing.
This idea that football is that the better side can lose sometimes.
This idea is that refs are true and straight. The only way to assure that is they shouldn't know what match they're reffing until a couple of hours before the game.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
So then, you know, if Bayern Munich won
No, but I just think...
You shouldn't know
what you're saying,
exactly.
James, is that the referee's let out in like a blindfold and suddenly release the referee.
Well, like
He comes out like a bullfighting, comes out of bullmark Toros.
Yeah,
and he's just suddenly out in black and bewildered in the light. And there's people going around with like the muletas, the kappas, the pink capes, and they're just distracting him.
You shouldn't know the ref is until... The match.
No way, lads. I'm going in blind. It's 11:58 right here on TalkSport. This is the warm-up. I'm Johnny Vaughan with James Brown and Gavin Woods. We're back in a second. We've got so much stuff here, including more of your injuries, Laurie Kids. We've got David Icke. We've got the outsider.
We've got who?
We've got David Icke.
David Icke, the Coventry goalkeeper.
Absolutely right.
Hereford and Coventry.
Hereford and Coventry. Exactly right, James. That's all coming. Stay with us.
TalkSport. On air, online and on TV at Sky Channel 0108.
Do you know, we've got David Icke on the line. David, good morning.
Hello, Johnny.
How are you, mate?
Morning, David.
First of all, thank you very much for joining us. I really wanted to talk to you to get, I suppose, another view on what I see is a crisis era for goalkeeping in this country.
Yeah, I mean, when I started out, I learned to be a goalkeeper by watching Gordon Banks because there were no such thing as goalkeeping coaches. You had to work it out, and I was born in Leicester, and I used to stand behind the goal and just learn from him. And we have all these goalkeeping coaches.
But that was like a training DVD back then.
Yeah, it was.
You just stood behind a goal and watched someone.
The keeper.
Yeah, we have all these goalkeeping coaches now, and we're not producing the goalkeepers we were. Although I think buying goalkeepers in from abroad with a checkbook is not helping the development of goalkeepers in this country.
It's not. I mean, what I'm saying is, during your era, what the weird thing about goalkeeping was even though England were rubbish, we always used to say, but I tell you what, if there was a World 11, Schultz would be in it, or Ray Clements would be in that, but it was always the one the only position we sort of prided ourselves on, as thinking, but if we were, we've got the best keepers in the world. Yeah. And that really has declined.
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid watching Banks, I actually played against Pete Shilton in schools football in Leicester. He was 2 years older than me.
Wow.
I saw him make his debut for Leicester against Everton at the age of 16 when Banks was playing in an international.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean...
Imagine that, 16-year-old in goal today, a 16-year-old.
Well, no club trusts a really young keeper,
no,
do they?
No, but that was young Schultz, I presume.
Germany, but Benetti at Chelsea was a fabulous goalkeeper. Gordon West at Everton. You could reel them off.
Phil Parks, Jimmy Rimmer.
Phil Parks. I played against Phil Parks when he played for Walsall, full enough.
Did you?
When I was about 16. So, they were all over the place. They were all quality. Like I say, Johnny, we didn't have the goalkeeping coaches in those days.
Yeah, but
when I played, you almost had to beg to have some goalkeeping training because you used to do the outfield training.
What was the training?
Did you used to train like an outfield player?
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah, and then at the end of the session, you'd have a bit of goalkeeping when the other lads went in.
That's brilliant.
But now, that's what it was like. And when the goalkeeping coaches came in, I mean, and I've been to a few clubs because my son Jamie, he was on trial at Man United and Aston Villa and a few clubs when he was younger, and I saw the goalkeeping training, and it's you walk out and you train as a goalkeeper most of the morning until there's a few shots with the lads later on. It's completely reversed, and yet we're not producing the keepers.
My son is a budding goalkeeper. He's only 10, but I'm amazed even at his level he gets to go to a separate training night.
Yeah.
As all the other players. But I'm wondering, maybe that's what made your era understand things more, as they trained as outfield players. So actually, it meant they sort of understood the mindset of their adversary. They're up against footballers, they're goalkeepers. Maybe it helped them understand the mindset of a footballer more and read the game better.
Yeah, I think too that you can overcoach people to the point where it's almost a technical thing in your mind rather than something that you're actually just spontaneously doing.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I mean, this is
you don't have to be fair on this show, Dave.
No, but to be fair, when you look at goalkeeping today, I mean, when I started out, when someone got the ball wide, you went to the back post because you knew that was where it was intended.
For the cross.
And then West Ham brought the near post ball in, and now you're moving your position.
Yeah.
And you don't know where it's going. And now they've got these free kicks where they bend them in from the left with the right foot and
with the lighter ball.
Yeah, and it's coming in towards the goal low, so you've not got any height advantage, and they're a nightmare. And these balls move around like crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
David, do you still enjoy watching the game?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a goalkeeping connoisseur. I didn't know you were going to talk to me about goalkeeping, funnily enough, but I'm a bit of a goalkeeping connoisseur. I love it.
Well, that would help being an ex-goalkeeper.
Yeah, it is an art, but I think the classic British goalkeepers of my era were the best.
Who do you like now?
Who do you like now? I mean, I really want to talk to you about this, about the England stock, because you got a goalkeeper like Joe Hart. He's not even guaranteed a first team place at City, a lot of the time, and yet he's our sort of number one option there. And who else you got? You got the lad at Celtic. What's he called? Is it Fraser Forster? Yeah. Then you got who's at Leeds United?
Butland
at Leeds United.
And Ruddy at Norwich.
I mean, it's.
Who do you like beyond? Who do you like from them, David?
Well, for me, Joe Hart stands out above all of them.
Does he?
But something's gone wrong with between Joe's ears, really.
Yeah.
You don't delete the hard drive of being a quality goalkeeper. Something goes on in your head, and you just don't.
What do you mean?
Express your talent, because when he was younger, when he first got in the Manchester City team, I thought Joe Hart had everything. He's big, he's quick, and he's got what I call the frog legs. He's got this enormous ability to leap from a standing jump.
Frog legs, I like that.
That's great.
He's got frogs, a good goalkeeping term.
Because what goalkeeping really often breaks down into shot stoppers.
Yeah.
And many shot stoppers make bad decisions because people think goalkeeping is just about stopping shots. It's not. It's about making good decisions.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of goalkeepers that make fantastic saves, but they'll come for crosses that they shouldn't come for. They won't come for crosses that they should come for. They'll come too far out and get caught in no man's land and all the rest of it. But Hart, when he really got into that Manchester City team, he had the package. But
you think he had it all?
Something's gone wrong in his head.
You think he had it all?
Do you think it's the fame, or just that he isn't being challenged?
Well, I think there comes a time when everyone loses a bit of confidence, and when you I know because I did it a few times, mate. Don't ask me about the cup game at Torquay.
What happened to the cup game against Torquay?
When you make a mistake, it can crush your confidence, and he made a few, didn't he? And it compounds, and I don't think he's quite over that. But he's looking better now than he was earlier in the season.
What happened in the cup game against Torquay?
Well, okay. Well, do you remember a train called the League Liner? Do you remember that?
No.
What happened was when I was playing for Hereford United. There's a lot of stories there too. But when I was playing for Hereford United, I was about 19, and we were in the first.
What year is this?
First
David?
Season in the league. This would be about 73.
So is this about the Ronnie Radford era?
Yeah, I played with Ronnie. I was there at Newcastle. I was in the squad for Newcastle, the Newcastle games and the West Ham games. Oh yeah, and I was.
You weren't playing that day when Ronnie Radford did that.
No, I was in the stand, but I was right behind the shot. And I'll tell you something about Ronnie.
Yeah.
Because obviously I played with him many, many times and trained with him and had shots whacked at me by him many times. He weren't a great striker of the ball.
Oh, he was that
I
day.
mean, there was more.
He was that day, David. He was that day.
There was more meat on a butcher's pencil, I tell you. But
more meat on a butcher's pencil.
But when he got that, he was the living proof of that timing is the biggest thing in when you hit a football, because it was an absolute screamer of a goal. But you know, a lot of people forget. They talk about the Newcastle game when Hereford won 2-1 at home.
Yeah.
But the best performance, and I was there as well, was actually in the first game at Newcastle, because they got a 2-2 draw at Newcastle.
Did they?
McDonald's, yeah. And what happened? It was just an amazing night, because some things seem to be meant to be, and certainly Hereford beating Newcastle
the
was.
gods of football. We were talking about this earlier in the week.
We had a striker called Brian Owen, and he was a very willing fella, but his second touch was usually a tackle, you know. But after 17 seconds, the ball came to him at Newcastle, 40-odd thousand people, fantastic atmosphere, on the right-hand side of the penalty area. And he hit it first time, and it must have been a shock to him that his laces actually made contact with the ball. But it went into the top left-hand corner. It was a massive goal. Yeah. And then Newcastle got it back to 2-2, and you thought, okay, floodgates. And then Colin Addison, the manager, cut in on the other side of the penalty area, and whacked a screamer into the far corner, and then we got a 2-2 draw, and the rest is history. And also, you know, the few days after the Newcastle win, we played West Ham, Bobby Moore and Jeff Hurst at home in the next round, and hit the post in a 0-0 draw near the end before losing at West Ham to
do you know what? It was an amazing era, and really, luckily, it's always that moment for Hereford will always remain because of that famous Radford strike there against Liverpool. And you were part of that. You've been part of our show this morning. Thank you very much for talking to us about goalkeeping and taking us for a lovely mosey down memory lane.
I didn't have to tell you about the Torquay goal either.
No, you didn't. You got round that, but don't worry, we'll remember. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the legend, we like Ike, 12:33.
Thanks, David.
Thank you very much, David. Do you know what I found out?
What?
I was reading a ritual and rivalry at the ancient Olympic Games, which I got from the British Museum. It's an excellent book, and it picks on the Olympics of 416 BC.
Right.
And it's a great account of what the true Olympics were.
They got all the stats and everything.
Yeah, it's fantastic. No, they haven't got any stats, but but all the stats are preserved.
Right.
Every single stat for the Olympics.
The results and
you
things,
take when they took part in the sort of era. Well, from Solon onwards, really.
Right.
So you're looking at sort of 700 BC. You start getting it.
Wow.
And they have got all the stats because winners got statues made out of them. So a lot of them are actually documented as you go along.
That'd be good now, wouldn't it, if they made statues of the winners?
Yeah, it'd be fun. Well, no, there's too many of them now. Back then, they only took place over about 5 days, and you just had the big events, the whoppers.
Yeah.
But what was weird that I didn't know, I never knew. You know the whole thing about the Olympic torch and the Olympic flame?
Yeah,
I didn't realise that was from 1936. That was purely an invention by Leni Riefenstahl to help a Nazi propaganda film.
Yeah,
that was the only. There was no other history or tradition of torch. Did you know that, James?
Yeah, we would. Yeah.
Oh, I told you a couple of weeks ago.
A few weeks ago. Yeah. Hey, listen, John Neve has updated the high visibility sporterisation.
Go on.
He says the annoying thing was that the management had sporterised high vis jackets too, but then they decided it was unprofessional.
Oh,
that's unfortunate. That's
okay,
wrong.
do you know what? I've got some sporterisation here. My brother Gaz's house has been totally sporterised. Sorry, new word coined on the show today. It's actually meant to when you customise a rifle for
sports hunting.
For sports, but we've now nicked it. We're bringing it into British culture now with as a slight contextual shift. My brother's Gaz's house has been totally sporterised. No, actually, my brother has been totally sporterised. He never leaves the house without wearing some item of clothing with his beloved Chelsea badge on it. As for his house, well, let's just say blue is the theme. Now, you probably think there's nothing too strange about it. He's 48, and that's from Pete the Gooner in Sidcup.
That's brilliant.
Keeping it real. Thank you very much for all your sporterised texts that have come in. Do go to TalkSport and just search in Talk Sporterised, because we're going to put in a photo gallery and we will be commenting on it.
And tweet your pictures to us as well.
Yeah, tweet your picture. Tweet your pictures in it or email
TS Warm-Up.
at TS
Or
Warm-Up.
your colleagues' pictures of their over-sporterised workstations.
Yeah, we really want workstations like a 9-year-old's bedroom. You're listening to the warm-up on TalkSport thanks to Capital One, official credit card of the Football League. It's time for the warm-up predictions. OK, who is our wench on the bench today?
It is me, Robin Schönhofer, your newsreader.
Thank you very much, Robin. We didn't get any girls on the phone at all. Thank you very much for stepping at the last minute, Robin. 'Cause I
You
know
are welcome.
You weren't particularly keen on doing this.
Not particularly, but it's okay. I'd much be rather playing with Jeffrey.
Oh, by that she means my dog, because it sounded slightly weird if you've... she didn't mean there's an old boy hanging around here called Jeffrey that everyone likes playing with. Oh, that would be quite good. Has everyone played with Jeff? There's an old boy.
Can we let him go home now?
Yeah, just smiling in the corner going, it's a little bit down there you haven't scratched. Right, let's go with Manchester United versus Liverpool. This is the Premier League tomorrow, 1:30. Robin, kick us off, please, as the wench on the bench.
Given Manchester United a bit rubbish at the moment, I'm going to go Liverpool 2, Manchester United 1.
OK, that's 0-2. Gav?
I'm going to go 2-1 Man U.
Oh, you changed?
I have, yeah. I'm keeping the score.
Because I've changed you around, haven't I?
No, because yeah, I'm going to go with that.
James?
I'm going, what Jamie said, 1-2.
1-2.
Manchester United 1, Liverpool 2.
I'm going exactly what Jamie said, because I have no mind of our own.
I know, I already had it written
I've got
down.
no mind of us own.
Lads, can I just say to you, nasal breath? Just to remember we're doing cricket commentary nasal breath. Robin, you'll have to do the nasal breath after it.
OK.
OK, your scoreline, please?
For Tottenham Arsenal?
Yes. No, oh, sorry. No, it's my scoreline.
Yeah.
My scoreline for this one is going to be Manchester United, Liverpool. I think Manchester United are going to take this I think it's going to be 3-2. OK, Tottenham Arsenal.
Tottenham Arsenal. Is it me again?
Yep.
Tottenham didn't do very well, did they, in the week? I would say Tottenham 0. My friend's going to kill me for saying this. Arsenal 4.
Arsenal 4. Is your friend a murderer?
God, that'd be good.
He will be.
My friend's going to kill me. My friend's going to kill me because he's doing life. OK, Gav.
I'm going 1-2.
1-2. James?
I'm going 1-2 as well.
1-2.
Oh, that was a bit of snot in that one.
I think it's going to be a draw. I think we won all this. I think that one will be 1-1. OK, last one here. Northampton versus Mansfield Town. Northampton going to go all the way with this. It's going to be 3-0. Gav?
2-1.
Sorry.
Mansfield won't make that. They're down 3-0 there.
I think it'll
Gav,
be...
what was your score again?
2-1.
2-1.
I'm going away win, 1-2.
1-2. And wench on the bench?
A draw, 2-2.
You did that very well. Ladies and gentlemen, Robin joined us. She was the wench on the bench.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you, Robin.
Red card at Hull.
There's a red card at Hull. Hang on, we can go over there right now for that red card action.
Hull City 0, Manchester City 0. City down to 10 men after 9 minutes played, and it's the captain, Vincent Kompany, who's been shown straight red by the referee, Lee Mason, and that for grappling with Nikola Jelavic. Goal-scoring opportunity, and Kompany, who basically fell to the ground, got up, and then grabbed the shirt of Jelavic, who was racing through, had that opportunity. Mason in no doubt, red card. Well, what a task Manchester City have. Hull City 0, Manchester City 0.
There we go. That was the warm-up. I thought we were going to get that. They failed to follow up with that free kick there, Hull City. It was badly taken. Thank you very much for joining us on the warm-up today. Thank you to our guests, Jamie Redknapp, David Icke. We had, who was
Gary Bennett.
We had Gary Bennett, who was absolutely superb. We had all of your texts and tells of sporterisation, non-league injuries. We had Jimmy Brown. Thanks, James. He's a tangential giant. We had Gavin, the Woodman Woods.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Gavin. Another great day from you. Thank you very much for your Back in Black. I was Johnny Vaughan. You know what? Kick football out of football. Never let the football spoil a good day out of the football. Above all, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. That was the podcast. Please send or tweet or send...
That's a question, Johnny.
Yeah.
Why have you brought a towel in? You're going swimming.
Yeah, what is that? It's all rolled up, just
You've
like
got to
you're
roll
14 and you're at the swimming.
He's got his
Yeah,
swimming
I know.
trunks in there.
It's funny enough. When I was, actually, I'll tell you that story next week. I'll tell you my towel story next week. Remind me, because it's
But
one.
why have you got a towel? Is it for
Because
Jeff?
it's for Jeff. Because sometimes when I get cabs, he has left cabs because it's the start of their day's work when they bring me to work.
He has a dirty protest,
and it's not quite like dirty protest, but it's not. It's like a slobber.
What? He's bent the cab.
He's just he chews like things like seatbelts particularly. please send in all your examples. Tweet them in of sporterisation.
I'm so glad I didn't use that towel to just dry my hands.
But do send in your pictures of all sporterisation. When you sporterise something, I think it's self-explanatory. It's like these people's workstations, like a 9-year-old's
They're
bedroom.
over keen on making everybody know that they support a team.
No, it's not. It's just how you support a club, James. We're not judging them. It's like those people who just support Christmas a bit more.
I'm always quite impressed with people who put their team's sticker on their car.
Yeah.
Because it's really an invitation for a keying from some other team's
really
fan, isn't it?
Yeah, but I like that because if you don't live in the city of the team you support, when you drive to that city, as you get nearer it, you start to see signs like the back of the car. That's another traveller. Then you get closer, there's a scar. Then you see people wearing the shirt.
That sign says Leeds, and my sticker says Leeds, and now we are getting nearer. And it's brilliant, John, because I have on say, me and my mates have a shirt with Leeds United, and we cheer road signs. What come along when we get near to Leeds? We go, look, that sign says the same as on our shirt.